What's going on, guys? Dave here. Welcome to the only show on the internet where we remind you, do not put your dick in the machinery. It will be confiscated by the machinery permanently. We're joined today by a very special guest, Goss Mall. He's down there. And, of course, we have Chris. Take it away, Chris.
I don't know what the fuck that intro was, but I want to apologize for Dave's chaos. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Less Than Normal. I am Chris. Joined with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Dave. And like
I do
Dave
crime.
mentioned, he does crime. And as we mentioned before, we have a special guest, Goss Mall, who is a friend of ours. He's a Twitch streamer. And he's going to be hanging out with us today for the show. Drew and Marcus are not able to make it, but I believe Drew is in chat today. So, hi, buddy. Well, fuck, boys. I got to try to recover and get my professionalism back after whatever the fuck Dave just said.
Look, that is what happens when Dave realizes he forgot to come up with something to start the show, and so he just connects his brain directly to his mouth, and whatever happens, happens.
I mean, I thought he was going to talk about a toaster, but he just went and just blanket statement all machines. Like, toaster
Literally.
I get, right?
You covered your fucking basis, my guy. Yeah, no, Zach hears sex with machines, and he's like, wait, come? What?
T1000's not going to be happy tonight when I get home.
So, Ma, give us a little bit of, information on your Twitch channel.
Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Shot?
Who do I think I am? Well,
that's what we should call this segment.
Yes.
Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Shot? Well, let's see. I've been streaming on again, off again since 2018. I've been affiliated on Twitch for over 2 years now. I'm currently taking a little bit of a break and doing doing some light streaming. because I just started school again. I'm going for my bachelor's degree. Um, my channel is themed around Darth Maul. He's one of my favorite heroes of the Star Wars saga. And yeah, if you have any questions about Star Wars, definitely hit me up. I love talking and learning about Star Wars. Dave knows we've gone into some pretty early morning, late night conversations around philosophy of Star Wars and
Right.
And
near
how
and dear.
upset? Okay, and you and I will say
Well,
this, and
sure.
we're going to talk about it. You are far more accepting of what Disney has done with the Star Wars franchise than I
Yes.
am. We're not going to get
Dave's
super
on a
into that,
fucking
but
witch hunt for Disney.
no,
It's really what
no.
it is.
But like me, like I feel like the Twin Saga, if they had stuck with stuff that was already written, and we know why they didn't want to pay for the rights to those storylines because they own the rights to those characters, but the books are entirely separate things, and the writers own the rights to those storylines.
Viking, no one's going to talk about Kenobi because one of the three of us has actually watched it. The other two of us haven't seen it. So,
but there's a lot of story stuff that they made. Hey Google, go live.
you fucked up,
I-
Aaron.
I disagree with how they removed the books from canon. Like, I disagree with that.
Right.
And 7, 8, and 9, I'm not okay with, but I think they're redeeming themselves with Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Kenobi, and obviously Ahsoka, and the Bad Batch, and season 7 of the Clone Wars.
But like
Yeah.
you, like me, even though you're more accepting of what Disney and they have been making strides to unpiss people off, like they've been working on it. But you, like me, feel like there were many stories that they could have pulled from that would have been far better as movies.
Oh, for sure.
Anything with the
7, 8, and
twins.
9. Yeah, they could have done so much better with 7, 8, 9. Like, part of me really, 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 really hopes that they just cancel it and redo it.
Or
they won't.
The Yuuzhan Vong saga.
Right.
Would be fucking incredible. Because
Drew, that's a fair point, and Maul's the perfect person to talk about that one.
That is a very good point, Drew. You want to talk about Halo, okay? Let me just throw one quick thing about it. That season finale, I didn't even fucking know it was the season finale. Like, it was just kind of like, here, the story's actually gonna start getting good or doing what it's supposed to, and black screen. That's it. See you assholes next year.
You are correct.
Fuck Paramount.
Kling, this is the pre-production of the Quentin Tarantino Star Trek film.
The Quentin Tarantino Star Trek short film, about a boy in space. It's Star Trek about a boy in space.
About a boy
in space.
So I haven't had a chance to sit down and actually watch the whole Halo like the first season of Halo. I
haven't either, but I'm here for discussion because I don't give a shit about spoilers.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely gonna watch it at some point, but
I am too, but I don't give a shit about spoilers.
Well,
Let's make the fucking content, nerds.
Here's the thing with Halo, though, right? If you don't know the books and you don't know the video games and you don't know shit about it, watching it for what it is, it wouldn't be a bad series. Like, if their whole purpose behind this series was to introduce people who have never had the opportunity to learn about Halo into Halo, okay, I get it. It kind of makes sense, but if you know anything about the video games or the books or the lore, this takes everything, twists it into a demented way where it ruins the core story of it and just pushes out a big pile of shit.
Oh yeah, for people like you and I who have loved the series since its fucking inception, like yeah, I'm hardcore, like big into Halo, but from everything I've heard, people say if you just remove the video game like aspect of it, like it's a great show. But again, everyone all of us that love the series are like, well, hey, this is what we want out of this, and this is not what we got. You know, so I could see the argument for both sides for sure.
Like the number one thing they did wrong. Where the fuck is Sergeant Johnson?
Yeah, that's another thing.
He is such an easy character to cast. There are
No.
literally
He's
hundreds of
not an
people I
easy
can
character
think
to
of.
cast. Sergeant Johnson is Keith David.
No, I
Yeah.
can literally think of like 100 people right
No,
now.
the
that could
Arbiter is
play
Keith
him and
David.
Be amazing.
No, but you
Right?
also cast Keith David as Johnson.
You cast Samuel L. Jackson as fucking Johnson.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay, all right.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Dude, I love. Okay. We're gonna derail here. We told you last week we were gonna introduce a new segment, and I don't think Chris knew that I was prepared to do this segment. But I'm glad we kind of dipped into Halo and talking about Keith David, because that's our entertainer of the week.
No shit.
I mean, the man has acting and voice acting chops. He's been in everything under the sun. He played himself in a video game where he became vice president of the United States. I'm talking about Saints Row, by the way.
Yep.
He plays himself in a game about gangsters and shooting people. And it's hilarious. But no, and like Keith David is one of those actors like Samuel L. Jackson or Morgan Freeman or like James Earl Jones. These guys are all like, they have that distinct voice that, like, even if they were willing to change their voice to do a character, you wouldn't want them to, because that's why you want them as your voice actor, is because their voice has the qualities you need for this character.
Right. I mean, like, you look at his like IMDb page, it's one of the longest ones you know.
It is one of the longest IMDb pages I have ever seen.
Yeah, it's insane. Just to think, to start off his career, he's in movies like The Thing, Platoon, let's see, the original TV series of The Equalizer, Roadhouse, like,
yeah, he's been in everything.
He started off in that and like just worked his way up into like so many things. He voiced a character in the Aladdin TV series. I mean, the guy's credits go on and on and on. He plays characters in, obviously, Halo, as we were talking about. He voices the Arbiter. He's in the Call of Duty series. He voices a character on the TV show Archer. Like that's just the name of very few.
Even if you don't know his name, you know his voice.
100%.
You have heard him somewhere or seen him somewhere. And he's like, when you see him in live action, can we talk about this man's smile for a minute? Because he's got that smile, like, I call it the preacher smile.
Yeah.
Right? Where when they smile, you're like, oh, I can trust this person. He might be smiling, telling you he's going to stab you to death, but you're like, man, you're a trustworthy dude for telling me all
100%.
this. Like, I don't like that you're planning on doing all this, but thanks for sharing.
Right.
You know?
Fuck, he was in Armageddon too, wasn't he?
Was he? I think he was.
I think he was in Armageddon.
I think he was.
Yeah, no, and you're correct, and like, you think about this man's acting chops, and like, you have to be a specifically talented actor to have not only the types of roles that he's had, but to have that sort of range and to have a career that's lasted as long as his. That's not even stopping at any time soon.
He was in the Chronicles of Riddick movies, Pitch Black.
He was.
Dark Fury and Chronicles of Riddick.
Right. Those were great films.
Oh, so good. I love him in those movies.
Yeah.
Like, Vin Diesel was still relatively unknown. Keith David had already cut his teeth quite a bit by the time that movie came out.
Yep.
But I feel like we wouldn't have gotten the movies and the franchise we got without Keith David being such a like core actor in that trilogy, especially in Pitch Black. Right? Because his character kind of anchors that movie. Because everybody else at points is kind of all over the place, and he is like the firm anchor in that movie of like you know what to expect from this guy. Right. And that never changes. Right. And in a movie like Pitch Black, you absolutely have to have that.
Right. Well, in those movies, like you look at the casting of those movies, and I think they did all of them justice. Because there's 4 of them?
3.
Are you sure? I feel like there's 4.
Nope. There's Pitch Black, Dark Fury, and Chronicles of Riddick.
Didn't they do one recently?
Which one of those is the animated one?
Dark Fury is the animated one, and it happens in between the 2 live actions. I don't like the animation style, but it's a good watch.
Right.
It has a very similar animation style to like the animation style, the quasi-anime animation style MTV was doing with some stuff back in the day. Think what was it? The Matrix cartoon, Enter the Matrix or whatever it was called.
Yep.
Yeah.
Similar animation style to that, but not as clean.
Hey, so fun fact about the actor that did the voice for Sergeant Johnson in the video games, David Scully. He actually did voice acting for other games too. That kind of shocked me. One of them is the Sly Cooper series.
Oh yes.
And Pajama Sam.
Oh, there is a new one. There is a new one just called Riddick. Okay, I need to see that shit. I haven't seen it. I didn't even know it existed.
Also, there is in production, and there's a script for a 4th one to tie into the trilogy. Vin Diesel talked about it a couple of years ago that he did get a script.
It's not good. Oh, right. Is that the one that's the prequel?
Yeah.
That talks about his time at Butcher Bay? That goes off the video game Escape from Butcher Bay? That was not great. Like, the story might have been fine. I couldn't get into it because it was mechanically sloppy as fuck.
Right.
And if you're playing a quasi-platformer action game, if your movement is sloppy, you're going to have a bad time.
For sure.
Because sloppy movement sucks in action games anyway, and then you add any elements of platforming, and it's like, no, fuck it, I'm out. That'd be like playing a Tomb Raider game with sloppy controls.
Right.
Fuck that. Fuck,
you know what?
Fuck all of that.
You know what wasn't sloppy, though?
The controls in Tomb Raider.
Well, yeah, but you know what else wasn't sloppy?
Ms. Marvel.
The 2nd episode of Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, I knew where you were going with that.
So
Maul hasn't
about it because I haven't seen 1 or 2. Like from what I've seen, it looks like a girl that's in high school.
Yeah,
senior in high school, as far as we can tell.
Yeah,
or junior maybe.
I think she's a junior.
I mean, honestly, now that Kenobi's done, I may give the series a shot because now I'm kind of like in limbo, waiting for the next series to come out.
Honestly, dude, it's worth it.
It's 100%. We've only seen 2 episodes. Okay, so to kind of save people who haven't seen it, it's been out a week now.
Yeah.
Episode 3 went up today.
Yeah.
And that's why we're not covering episode 3. We talked about this at the start of it. But we're going to talk about the shows a week like in the back. Just so we're trying not to spoil shit for people who are actively watching it or trying to watch it as it comes out.
Right. So without actually saying anything specifically, because Maul is here and hasn't seen it and seems like is interested.
Honestly, I'm not worried about spoilers, so you can just go ahead.
Okay.
Because it's one of those shows where like I'll watch it to get like the backstory to see how it ties into the rest of the universe. But as a whole, like if it gets spoiled, it's not going to ruin it for me.
Right. So we see Kamala working on her powers, getting better, trying to figure out more about the bangle that she's been wearing.
Can we?
It.
Speaking of learning more about the Bangle, can we just give a huge nod to calling a group within her community the Illuminantes?
I love that. I love that. Yeah, because listen, they know everything. They're the gossipers.
They're the Illuminantes.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Wait, is that a triangle on screen? Are we Illuminati?
No,
Confirmed?
we're not.
We're
Not
upside down.
confirmed.
No.
Flip it. Flip it.
No, you're not.
But hi, Clang.
Hi, Kling. How you doing, sexy? Do me a favor. Give your butt a little pinch for me.
Just a little bit.
Just a little one.
Give yourself that little slap and tickle. But no, it turns as they're going through with the training and stuff, Bruno finds out that it oh, that's even funnier.
Oh, hi,
He's
Bean.
lying.
Give
He's lying.
Kling's butt a little pinch
Yeah,
for me.
there you go.
Just a little
He's
pinch.
lying. Learn,
Just a little,
learn Kling's humor. He's
just-
lying. He's trying to make it awkward.
just a little
for you.
pinch.
It is Kling. I see right through your plans.
I see through the lies of the Jedi. But no, it turns out that the bangle isn't what holds the powers. It unlocked Kamala's powers within her, which confirms what Dave and I were saying
Well,
before.
it doesn't necessarily confirm, but I have a suspicion that the
That she's an
bangle
Inhuman.
contains Terrigen crystals
Yeah.
and is some sort of way to unlock inhuman abilities without undergoing a complete transformation.
Correct.
That's been my suspicion. And the episode does reveal that the power does come from within her. So it gives more credibility
Okay,
to that idea.
So what is her power?
So her power in the comics, her power is a mix between Captain Marvel and
Mr. Fantastic.
some form of Mr. Fantastic.
In this, she's able to hard light.
Yeah, basically, and she can extend out and whatnot.
But it's light, right? So
Yeah.
she can make platforms of hard light. She can, like add stuff to her body made of hard light, so on and so forth.
Right.
She does this cool thing where she makes like hard light platforms and she like runs through the air because she can't fly. Though I bet she does figure out how to fly at some point.
Oh yeah.
Because all it takes is her to realize, wait, I can move all this hard light stuff. So I just put it around my hands and my feet and then I can
Go.
fly.
She flies like Superman. Also, she does the pose in this.
You're such a poser.
Yeah, you do pose. Yes, you land, you flip your hair back, put your arm out like, hey, did anybody see that? You are such a poser. So we learn about Kamala's great grandmother who was lost from her family the day of the partition between obviously everything that happened in early Pakistan back then.
We also find out there's a new character introduced. He's a British kid that Kamala is super into. And then at the episode, we find out not only is Grandmama still alive and looks to be the same age as her mother, great grandma, excuse me, is still alive and looks to be the same age as her mother. But
that's great uncle.
The boy she's into is technically her great uncle.
It's like that changes everything.
Well then.
Yeah. Don't bang family.
Don't do it. And if you live in the South, listen to us.
It's too late.
Yeah,
It's
it might be too late for you.
to call the
The
guys.
So yet again, I want to give props to Marvel for doing the cultural aspect of a character justice. We saw this. We first saw this originally with Black Panther, where they just delved hard into the cultural aspect of a character living in Africa. I thought they did a fantastic job with that. Same with Moon Knight, everything being Egyptian themed.
Well, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, not only for the cultural stuff that takes place here in America, but also their portrayal of
That was for you, bud.
I can't remember the name of the place they went to now. It left my head.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it.
This is the name of a place I knew before they said it. Like, this is a place I should know. Anyway, where they went with the Asian themes and just the set design for that location was incredible.
Yep. Yeah, and again with the Middle Eastern culture and actually showing it correctly, not only correctly but respectfully. The music in the series so far is phenomenal. The cinematography is great. Props to Marvel and props to Disney for again coming out with another banger of a TV show. They're killing it right now, and I mean, not much else you could say on it. But I am looking forward to watching episode 3. I'll probably watch that tonight or a little later, maybe tomorrow. Check it out. But if you guys are scrolling Disney Plus and you are looking for some other Marvel stuff, they in a sneaky way, without telling anyone, they surprised us with Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness, which is now on Disney Plus, which is exciting if you haven't seen that.
So
highly
good.
recommend. I saw it opening night and it was spectacular. And that's gonna tie a lot of shit in out. It's gonna tie a lot of shit in with what's coming next. Which we had one thing announced within the last week of something that can be coming next, and that will be coming next is the announcement of the Thunderbolts movie.
I fucking called it. I've been calling it for over a year now. Wouldn't you say, Maul? Year and a half?
Oh, for sure. I mean, for a long time now.
I mean, it makes sense.
Well, and especially now that they have Natasha's sister Yelena.
Yep.
Who is the Thunderbolts Black Widow.
Yep.
They have Baron Zemo, who was part of the Dark Avengers, and I believe also did a stint with the Thunderbolts.
Correct. Well, I have a listing in front of me from ScreenRant.com that says, as we know right now, who will be in the Thunderbolts movie.
Okay.
Thunderbolt Ross, aka Red Hulk, which we will see at some point. Unfortunately, will not be the person we all want it to be, which would be portrayed by William Hurt, who has played the Red Hulk for literally ever.
You mean General Ross?
Yeah. Well, he's played that character forever. Unfortunately, with his passing in March of this year, that would be a little hard. I believe there's a chance that he will appear in the She-Hulk series. I think that's been confirmed.
Well, that's probably going to be the easiest way that they introduce Red Hulk into the universe is boom.
Right. And I think Dave and I are both super stoked for that series to hit too.
Green Mommy can step on me.
Green Mommy. So, Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who we see at the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Val.
We see her at the end of Black Widow. So she's 100% gonna tie in.
Oh yeah, we're 100% getting U.S. Agent.
Right, that is another one that is confirmed. So is Baron Zemo. Obviously,
Punisher.
Black Widow. A character who hasn't been talked about much, but if we go back to the Ant-Man and Wasp movie, Ghost. So, who else?
Well, potentially a version of Yellow Jacket, because the tech is there.
Right. Taskmaster, who we see introduced from Black Widow.
We're also probably going to get Artemis, or whatever she
Yep.
calls herself.
We're gonna get the Abomination.
What does she call herself?
Artemis.
Kate.
Yes.
Kate Bishop. What
Kate
did
Bishop.
she land on for a superhero name?
Oh, I don't remember. But she's
Because isn't
probably
Artemis one of the names she uses in the comics?
I think so.
Or am I thinking a DC character?
I can't remember. It's been so long since I've read the Hawkeye stuff.
But anyway, Kate Bishop will be filling the Hawkeye role in the Thunderbolts, guaranteed, because this is a
Yeah.
young girl who has no like hero affiliation, who is super talented, who they reach out to her, they seem like a legit group, she's going to be on board.
Right. Well, and if we see the Abomination in the Thunderbolts, it would be not surprising, but it also wouldn't be the first time in Phase 4 that we see him.
Right, because the Abomination's in Shang-Chi.
Not only that, but he is in She-Hulk too.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. Yeah, you forget he's in Shang-Chi. I need to rewatch that movie. That was such a good film.
It's so good.
So needless to say, I don't believe there's been a director announced yet. As far as I'm aware, there is no director that has been announced.
Oh, I remembered the name of the alien race. So the other thing the bracelet could be, is it could be McLuhan technology,
Yep,
which is
it
what
could
the
be.
10 rings were made from in the comics. They're McLuhan
Yes.
rings, Fin Fang Foom being a member of that race.
Right.
The big piss off dragon, for those of you who, but not the dragon from Shang-Chi.
Right.
But yeah, because those rings have been depicted as both possessing power, but they've also been depicted as unlocking inner power. So it could be a variant of like some high tech shit from space.
Right.
But those are the two options for that bangle.
I could see it.
At this point, because in the comics, I'm pretty sure she was an Inhuman.
Yeah, she was.
So I'm leaning more towards it's some sort of Terrigen tech.
Right. And I just the other day started reading the 2014 comic line. Which I think is what they're going off of for the
the visuals
show.
are so similar.
Yeah. Another thing that was talked about yesterday in an interview that he did, Kevin Feige said that the next MCU saga will become clear as Phase 4 ends. Like we'll get to know more, which I think we already at this point know.
Well, yeah, because Phase 4 ends with Love and Thunder. Gore the God Butcher gets introduced in Love and Thunder. And along with Gore the God Butcher, I think we're going to get our first sneak peek at Null.
Possibly.
Because I think we've gotten a sneak peek at Null without realizing it in the trailers already.
On the topic of Gore the God Butcher, casting Christian Bale to play him was perfect.
Oh my god,
yeah.
He looks so terrifying.
He does.
His ability to manipulate his body to gain weight, lose weight, to fit a role is perfect for Gore the God Butcher.
Well, and there's one scene that you see in the trailer where he doesn't look evil, but he looks so fucking like haunted by his past and by experiences that it's terrifying.
By the way, it does not end with Thor. Phase 4 technically ends with the Fantastic Four film that is in development. The only 100% confirmed film that it will end with is The Marvels, which comes out in July of next year. So Phase 4 is not done. Same with
well, no, but
TV show wise, they're not done yet until I think they're ending with a Wakanda series.
Well, and I know
next year.
Loki season 2 is part of Phase 4.
Right. So there's a bunch of stuff that's still to come. I don't think we're gonna see an end until next year.
But I'm talking like that moment that he's talking about.
Right.
That comes in Love and Thunder.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you're also gonna see at this point a passing of the torch from original, Infinity War characters. So I think most of them are just gonna slowly phase out, and we're gonna see new characters come in.
Well, yeah,
which I
because
think
unlike comic books, you can't keep a character 35 forever.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can, but you'd have to cast different actors. And
Right.
we see how well that's going for DC.
Speaking of DC recasting different actors, there have been more and more confirmed unofficial reports that Ezra Miller's stint at Warner Brothers is done. It does look like they're still going to release the
Film, yeah,
Flashpoint film with Ezra Miller in it in 2023.
Yep.
When they're done with editing, but they also may have pushed it back to 2023, and they could be considering the option of just reshooting every scene that Ezra is in.
It's
Speaking of
possible.
DC, can we talk about how the Joaquin Phoenix Joker has been confirmed for a second movie? And I think it's Lady Gaga is going to play Harley Quinn in it. And
Oh,
they're
shit.
Theme it more towards a musical.
Okay, I'm
I'm
here
into
for
this.
that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's going to be more centered around being kind of like a musical. And
Okay.
and Lady Gaga has been brought in to play a female character who I suspect will probably be Harley Quinn. Because, I mean, honestly, just getting to see Joaquin Phoenix play the Joker again is good enough.
You know what? I'm excited for when they finally realize that the Joaquin Phoenix Joker is the perfect Joker for the Pattinson Batman.
Really?
That would be amazing. I would like to see the two of them go at it, but I don't think it's going to happen, especially with the Joker 2 being more towards.
Well, and they're set in different. They're the Joker movies are 70s, and Pattinson Batman has a very like 80s feel.
Right. With, I believe, current technology.
That being said, it seems like Barry Keoghan's going to be playing Joker opposite Pattinson's Batman. Yeah. Which is a good casting also choice. Here for.
He was great in the Eternals.
He was fantastic in the Eternals. And okay, so the Eternals, arguably the worst MCU movie.
Which is insanity.
Hang on. But the worst MCU movie is still pretty fucking good. Like, MCU movies tend to be like pizza.
Yeah.
Even the bad ones are still, like, okay. I love how Maul turned around and now he's just like the Invisible Man. Are you going to pull a titty out of a shirt and start playing with a nipple?
I could.
Hollow Man reference. We talked about that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I had to respawn a soda.
A soda.
Wish I had a soda.
I have a soda. I have Sunkist.
Yeah, I can't. So Sunkist is the one orange soda I cannot drink.
Really? Why?
It has caffeine in it.
Does it?
Mm-hmm.
I love Sunkist even more.
Yeah, so I can't drink Sunkist.
Although I will say, the best orange soda is the Stewart's Orange Cream Soda.
Oh yes, hands down.
As far as like mass manufactured, broadly available, at least.
Yeah.
Because I've had some. Exactly, Kling, and that's kind of the point. And everybody argues about what the worst one is, but the thing is, if the worst movie in your franchise is still watchable and enjoyable by a large portion of people, you're doing pretty fucking good as a studio.
Oh yeah. Why is my computer being weird?
But no, I'm excited for Joker 2. I'm excited to see more out of Pattinson because they did confirm a sequel.
Oh yeah. They're
They
100%
didn't.
gonna go.
Honestly, he is probably one of my favorite people that have portrayed Batman.
I agree.
Right.
Batman's my favorite DC character.
And it's like, you know, you have Val Kilmer and
Clooney.
I'm trying to think
Mike-
of some of the
Michael
yeah,
Keaton,
Michael Keaton,
George Clooney, Ben Affleck, Christian Bale.
Christian Bale. You all these big name actors to play the Batman, right? And then you have Robert Pattinson, who hasn't been heard of in a long time. Like I feel like after Twilight, he kind of just fizzled out and did like some side projects.
No, he's been in some good movies.
But what I mean is like he hasn't been like
he hasn't been in a big name like blockbuster movie.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and it's like, hey, by the way, he's gonna be the Batman. And I remember the controversy because Dave and I had talked about this when it was announced, and it was just like, ew, seriously, him of all people? And then you see the picture of him in the suit,
and you're like,
released, and you're like,
okay,
holy fuck, he looks badass.
okay. And then you start to get like the trickle, like quote unquote leaks that weren't really leaks of like a scene snippet here and a scene snippet there, and you hear him in the role. And even the movie had some controversy around it, around how Batman was portrayed, right? But the thing I want people to realize is this is a year 2 Batman. This is still a very green Batman. Who's still very angry and hasn't really learned to deal with some of that emotional bullshit.
Right.
Well,
that he has.
For a majority of the movie, he didn't know how to deal with it.
Right. But we see character growth here, which is a thing I feel like we miss in a lot of Batman movies that we get in comics. Because Batman isn't a static character. He's constantly growing and learning and doing everything he can to improve himself mentally, physically, and emotionally.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think we missed that in the Bale Batman movies.
We did. We did.
You didn't really get to see growth for him as the character, apart from the first movie, right? But you saw the villains grow the most, and that's why they were, you know, everyone's favorite. He was a good actor for it, but as we're gonna see in Love and Thunder, I think Christian Bale was born to play a villain.
Oh, well, 100%.
I mean, I've seen Christian Bale in stuff other than Batman.
Mm-hmm.
And the movie I love that he's a hero in, that he does so good, and the writing is so good. It's Reign of Fire.
Oh yeah, with Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey and Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
Which, when they cast Gerard Butler for 300, I'm like, okay, are we gonna get a McConaughey and a Bale to just come hang out for a scene? Because I love the dynamic of those three together. Like, even when they were at odds, like, you could tell that there was chemistry between them as actors.
Right.
And that they probably got along really well, like, off screen.
So I think everyone forgets about this movie, but my easily my favorite Christian Bale movie is American Psycho.
I've never seen it.
It's an amazing movie. He plays a villain.
Yeah, he plays a villain.
Literally psycho.
Ironically, someone who was also cast in a Batman themed film or a DC film is also in that movie, and Jared Leto. Which Jared Leto also does a spectacular job. I will say this when it comes to the Pattinson Batman, though. Okay, I have very, very openly spoken about I've never been a DC fan. I don't like Batman. Like I'm not into. But when a film like the new Batman film grabs my attention, hooks me in, and at the end of it, I'm like, that was fucking amazing. I really want to see a sequel. That's when you know that DC has done something correctly. Not only have they done it correctly, they've done it their way. They've stopped trying to be Marvel. They've stopped trying to appease to Marvel fans. They're doing what they want to do, and they for the first time, I think, since Michael Keaton, for at least that series, they have the perfect Batman. Because if you think for the Tim Burton films, Michael Keaton was the best option out of everyone that played Batman to be Batman. And I think now, knowing what DC has to do to make this film finally like a mainstay stick, where they can stop changing the character and stop changing the storyline and stop changing the comic series that they go from, I think Pattinson and the way that they've done this whole movie, I think they nailed it, and this is where they can grow. Like, take this and run.
Oh
The
yeah.
downside, though, is I think DC's at a fork in the road, and they're either going to smarten up from their previous mistakes and continue to pump out good movies, or they're going to fall back into the same rut, have 1 or 2 good movies get released, and then release like 5 or 6 shitty ones.
Yeah.
Well, right,
and
because I enjoyed the first Suicide Squad. It was real fun to watch. It was fucked as a movie, and it had all kinds of flaws, but I enjoyed the experience.
Well, if you think Margot Robbie and Will Smith carried that movie.
Oh yeah. And
100%. Well,
I talk a lot of shit on Jared
about
Leto's Joker, but I don't think that was Jared Leto's fault.
Not only that, but the guy never got screen time. He was in what, 3 scenes?
Yeah, probably.
That's it. He said he had a ton of scenes cut from that movie that he filmed. He said he had shot so many scenes and they were removed.
Okay, but do you know why they removed them?
Why?
I think they realized that the way they wrote the Joker sucked.
Yeah.
Just could be true. I mean, the thing is, like, Suicide Squad, right? The first one was phenomenal, and it was a really, really good movie, and it introduced a lot of people in a fun way to the Suicide Squad and a lot of those characters. And then Suicide Squad 2, the second one, I thought was a steaming pile of dog shit.
The Suicide Squad. I enjoyed that one also. I enjoyed them both.
I have the opposite opinion. I thought the first one wasn't good, and I thoroughly enjoyed the second one. Because it feels like what the Suicide Squad should be. Is, yes, kind of goofy, but like, you know, because they're just a bunch of crazy villains that become heroes. It's this weird storyline that I think they nailed the they hit the nail on the head for the second film.
They nailed the head with the nail with the hammer with the head.
I just think some of what they tried to do with it was very untasteful.
Right.
And trying to like ride the wave of inappropriateness that Deadpool had created.
Well, yeah.
Because like people think of Deadpool as like, oh my god, this is great. And it's like one scene in particular that I really wasn't a big fan of in the Suicide Squad was when you went underground to where the giant starfish thing was, and you see like the pregnant woman with the baby sitting on the table. I was like, this is kind of a little too far. Like they're pushing the envelope too much with stuff like this.
Fair.
You know? I think if they would have dialed it back on like the gore and the in your face like stuff like that, I think it would have been a little bit of a better movie. But I think they tried to push the envelope too far, and for me, I think it was far enough that it kind of took away from the overall quality of the movie. Because like that's one scene that when I think of that movie, I always go back to. I don't go back to any of the other cool scenes. You know what I mean?
Fair. But I think you have a point too with where we're at with DC, because I mean, yeah, we had that. I guess it started with Aquaman. Aquaman, fantastic film, massive success for them, and then they just hit a wall and dropped right down. And all their movies were just kind of stale and like when you have to make multiple versions of the Justice League film just to try to make it actually watchable and enjoyable for people, I feel like that says a lot. And I feel like now we're at a point where DC has set themselves up for success with the Batman, moving forward with Pattinson. And I mean, hell, if you even want to give Zoe Kravitz a Catwoman spinoff, do it. I'm here for it. She was great as Catwoman. But you're at this point where this is the quality that we're going to expect from DC now. Do they continue to hit that expectation, or do they just drop?
Right.
I think
Well,
only time's
okay.
gonna tell, you know.
But here's the thing. You know what DC movies I love the most?
What?
The ones that aren't DCEU.
Same.
Suicide Squad movies aren't DCEU. Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey was fucking inspired. That movie was so goddamn good.
Yeah.
The only DCEU movie I can say that I truly like is Wonder Woman. Because that movie gave me the same feeling all the way through as like Captain America did.
Right.
The pacing was right. The storyline was right.
I wish Warner
what I've
Brothers
seen
would
of
just
Aquaman
stick
I
to
like, but
video
I can't make it through Aquaman.
Aquaman was great.
It's bad. No, it's bad.
See, I thought it was fantastic. But again, I have no comic affiliation or any sort of that with DC. So for me, I just sat as what it was and watched it.
One thing I wish Warner Brothers would stop doing is stop trying to pump out movies, because I know they're a huge moneymaker and like I get it, but I think they should focus on what they do well, and that's video games.
Right.
The Warner Brother DC video games blow Marvel video games out of the water.
Oh yeah, especially the ones
Time
that
and
they
time
work with Rocksteady on.
Yeah.
I'm so
think the
excited for
last-
Gotham Knights.
I think the last Marvel video game that I actually got excited for was Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
I would, play Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy is super fucking well done.
Insane.
It's so
watched
good.
So I watched Dave play it, and it looks like a good game. But the thing that I get from it is it's kind of like it feels like a Telltale game without as much dialogue and a little bit more freedom to move around. It's kind of the vibe I got
it is
from it.
very on rails.
Yeah.
And I get that, and I like that, but like when I think of like a really good superhero game, right? I think of like the Batman series with the Arkham, you know?
Well, because
I think
okay, so the Arkham series is if you take a game like Far Cry or Tomb Raider, one of the modern Tomb Raiders, or they just had a movie release with Tom Holland. Uncharted, right?
Yeah. Which I have to see. I haven't seen.
So it's one of those games with a superhero skin thrown on top of it. Like there are mechanics that are different and so on and so forth. But it's a semi-open world game with a linear story and additional content all over.
Right.
That's a good formula.
It's a super good formula.
Right.
I'm not knocking it at all, but I'm saying they looked at something that worked and said, "Huh, that feels like that would adapt well."
Yeah.
And then they went with a similar like core gameplay loop, and it fucking works. You know what other franchise also recently did that and it was fucking amazing? Halo with Halo Infinite.
Oh, Infinite was phenomenal.
And it's again that same kind of gameplay loop.
Right. I think Halo Infinite was an amazing game. I think the only thing that 343 did wrong with it is with the extra year of development that they had for it, because they got shit on at E3 in 2020. I think they should have had the full game released with Forge and multiplayer and stuff like that.
Right. But that's, you know, like a whole separate thing to, you know, the story. And like Halo Infinite multiplayer is the same as every other Halo mode. Like nothing's really different except for like
except there's a
things.
bunch of stuff missing from it, at least at
Right.
launch.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that really frustrated me about that game was I felt like we were being released an incomplete game, and they had time to fix it.
So like Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk was fine I played Cyberpunk on release and it was fine.
It's funny because it's funny because with Cyberpunk, either you got it and you had an amazing experience, or you got it and you had nothing but issues. It's that weird in between thing. And like, I guess if we're gonna talk about Marvel games that weren't bad, like I'm not gonna sit here and say the Avengers game was bad. It wasn't bad. It was a solid game. Was
Okay,
it the best Marvel game out there? No, but you know what it did give us? It gave us Miss Marvel introduced as a character that people became interested in, which is what allowed, obviously, Marvel to open up the idea of adding her into the new Captain Marvel movie, her getting her show, and bring like that main piece that actually introduced us to that character in a mainstream platform, which I think is important.
all right. I'm gonna start some controversy. Do you know what game Marvel? There's one type of game that Marvel makes that they do a really good job at.
What?
Mobile
Mobile
games.
Oh, Contest of Champions. It's
Contest of
such a good game.
Champions is so good. It's engaging.
right.
There's events all the time.
You got to
Like-
think of the version of that game before Contest of Champions, back when it was on the Facebook game, and it was not a mobile game. It was the only one you could play on Facebook, and it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So I
Same
had
game.
the original Ultimate Alliance games.
Yeah, when you played as the operator, and it was the exact same format as Contest of Champions, and then all of a sudden that game just poof disappeared.
Hey, what's up, gamer?
hey
That pissed
gamer,
me
how
off.
you
I had
doing?
I had a lot of progress in that game, so I'm salty about it.
But they do that type of gameplay loop really well.
Well, which is why
And-
the
and-
Marvel versus Capcom games were so, loved.
And the I guess best bit, I think, is that they in those games introduce comic storylines, comic characters,
Yeah.
and like all sorts of characters that people are unfamiliar with. A lot of people
I would say one character that I learned about playing those games that I really want to know more about and see in live action, Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel
Oh,
Girl.
well, Squirrel Girl's probably going to be coming
She
within the
needs
next.
to. She's one of the
and-
biggest
honestly-
badass characters in the
honestly,
universe.
Well, do you know
Marvel.
It's in talks.
Feige.
And
Kevin Feige, this is for you. Somebody clip this and tweet it at him.
Dave, you should go full screen so we can get the full meaning of this.
yeah, this is.
I'm going full screen.
This is a full
And then I'm
screen
gonna-
thing.
After this, I'm going to tell you who's already in talks to be cast as Squirrel Girl.
Kevin Feige. Talk to Ryan Reynolds and be like, hey, you should put Squirrel Girl in Deadpool 3. Because Deadpool is the perfect vehicle to introduce Squirrel Girl. Do it. Just fucking do it. What are you doing? Make good decisions. Thank you.
Do it for the children. So Squirrel Girl, for the last few years, has been kind of in talks of being a thing. Do you know who their top person to play Squirrel Girl is?
I'm very interested to find out.
Okay, time out, because I have two people who I have hoped for.
Okay.
To play this role because I think they'd be perfect. Felicia Day.
Okay.
Or she plays Trisha McMillan in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. She's the new girl in
Zoe
the new girl.
Deschanel?
Zoe Deschanel is the other one. Thank you.
All right, well,
yes.
I think you're going to be excited to who not only has expressed massive ideas or interest in it, fucking Anna Kendrick.
Okay.
Like
I'm here for it, but
super here for it. Because A, she's phenomenal in everything she does. B, she's hilarious. Like, her personality is great.
okay, but you
And
can also
we-
say that about Zoe Deschanel and Felicia Day.
Oh, well, yeah.
Anna Kendrick, though, you definitely look at her and you get kind of like that ditzy vibe, which you need for Squirrel Girl. Like,
Yeah.
oh, did I do that? Oh,
It
shit.
hits. It's either her or Jennifer Lawrence, and Jennifer Lawrence is already,
Mystique.
yeah. Which, again, I think we're going to see soon with the next...
I don't think they're gonna bring the old cast back though.
I feel like they might, or at least some of them.
No, because I think they might want to recast some of those actors as different characters. And unless you're doing all of them, you can't selectively do
Chris Evans.
some. You can't selectively do some and then recast people who played a different character as a different character.
Yeah. Well, kind of like they did with Chris Evans. Because Chris Evans was obviously
Johnny Storm, Human
originally
Torch.
Human Torch. But I'd be here.
He was
for a
also one of
Squirrel
the
Girl
7
movie.
evil X's.
He was. Yes, he was. Which is so funny to think about. I love that movie.
Yeah, because he was the vegan, wasn't he?
He was the actor.
He was the actor, yes.
He was the actor.
Oh, who played the vegan?
Oh, God. I don't know, but I need to find that movie, and we need to watch it. If you guys haven't seen Scott
I think
Pilgrim
it's on
versus the
Prime.
World, it might be. But if you guys haven't seen Scott Pilgrim, what are you doing?
It's so fucked.
It really is, but it's a phenomenal film.
I had the biggest crush on the
Peacock.
It's on Peacock. I had the biggest crush on the girl with the purple hair. I can't remember her name off the top
Mary
of my head.
Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah.
Because you think Kieran Culkin's in that movie, Chris Evans, Aubrey Plaza, Brie Larson, Jason Schwartzman, Anna Kendrick is in that movie.
I think that movie is why I don't
Mae
like Brie
Whitman.
Larson.
Is it?
It might be.
She was great in 21 Jump Street.
Oh,
Bill Hader's
yeah.
in that movie. Yeah, you forget how loaded that cast was.
Oh, well, and it was before a bunch of these people got, like, crazy stupid famous.
Before Michael Cera was doing cocaine and grabbing ass on This Is the End. I love that movie. Have you seen that movie?
I've seen it. I saw it once, super drunk on a date. So I didn't watch much of it.
We'll watch that because I love that movie. And he's just like, wait, who took my fucking cell phone, man? You know what we did watch though, Dave? That
oh my God,
have done nothing but talk about since. All right, Maul, you've obviously seen Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So,
who hasn't seen Home
know,
Improvement?
Did you know that Tim Allen and Richard Karn are doing a show together again?
Yes, because you said something at the beginning of the stream about it.
We did. It's called Assembly Required, and it's like a challenge show for builders.
For makers. Not builders, makers. And if you know what that word means, you know how big this fucking is.
Right. Obviously, they were a big deal, so this is like a cool thing to have.
And they didn't just play like these like gearhead people on TV. Like Tim Allen is super into fucking cars and mechanics and like how shit works. And Richard Karn is as well.
Right.
My understanding is like even after the show ended, those two stayed in pretty.
Oh, they've been friends for years.
Yeah,
like super close friends for years.
But like if you do something that long with somebody, you either become best friends or you hate each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And especially with as popular as that show was.
Oh yeah.
Home Improvement.
Well, look at all the careers that launched.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, it's pretty much it, isn't it? Everybody thought
Tim
that
Allen, but you know,
with Tim Allen was already successful. Like he was a successful stand-up comedian when that show started.
Right. It's crazy to think he did prison time too.
Right?
Like straight prison time.
We should do Tim Allen as our entertainer of the week next week.
We should, because he's been in so many things. He's fucking Buzz Lightyear, okay?
And he's Santa.
He is Soda.
Sorry, he is Buzz Lightyear or he's fucking Buzz Lightyear? Because that could go either way, and
Bit of both.
Down for both.
Bit of both.
Well, he hasn't been on Jackass yet, but if they manage to get him on Jackass, he might be fucking Buzz Lightyear.
He might be fucking Buzz Lightyear.
Jesus Christ. No, it's so good. We've seen the first 2 episodes?
Yeah, I think we watched the first 2 episodes. I think the first season is up.
But no, it's super fucking cool, guys. And so the show is structured like this. Like people can apply to be on the show. I'm not sure how. And in each episode, they have 3 makers who they have challenges for. right?
Yeah.
And these makers do these challenges from their own shops. And they mail them a thing, and they give them a 90-minute challenge where they have to build something that's like they're told what to build, and they have to build it with whatever they have in their shop and like a box of shit that got sent to them.
Yeah.
And then after that, they two people that move on get sent a bigger box. They have to incorporate a part from whatever they built in the first challenge into whatever their new thing is. And they have to build a whole different new thing, and they have 5 days to do that. But it's so cool. Like, they had to build an all-season blower, so it had to blow leaves, and it had to melt ice. So they had to build a leaf blower with a flamethrower attachment.
Yeah.
It was super fucking cool. And this one guy, he does like metal sculptures. He made a dragon.
He did. He literally made a dragon.
He made, like, it looked like you know the firework cannons from Mulan or Kung Fu Panda? It looked like one of those, but like with a tail.
Interesting that they did flamethrowers. I probably would have just put a heater in the back of it so it would have blown hot air.
Well, yeah, but if you're given all of the shit you need to build a flamethrower and none of the shit you need to build a heater, you build a flamethrower.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So,
Without question.
So in the summertime, what were they blowing? Like leaves and grass and shit?
Yeah, and then they were lighting shit on fire.
I would have just built a flamethrower. Just burn the grass and leaves and shit. Problem solved.
They built both. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
It's one thing that does both.
But why not have just one thing that still does both? Just burn it.
Because in some states you can't burn all the time. I live in one of those states.
Challenge accepted.
From what I've seen, season 1 is only available. It was hit last year. It doesn't look like the show is canceled or greenlit for a second season yet. I think they're still waiting on some things.
But this show's been out for a year and we just heard about it.
Yeah. It's from the History Channel, so I mean, obviously,
and
it's on Hulu.
It's on Hulu. That's right. I was trying to remember what it was on, but it's on Hulu. It's from the History Channel. And
if you know anything about the History Channel, you know that everything done correctly and all of their shows are very well produced.
Yeah, well, look how popular Pawn Stars was.
Right.
That was History Channel.
Do you know what's another good like builder series like that I found a couple years ago and I've been watching ever since?
What?
Lego Masters.
Oh yeah,
I've wanted to see Lego Masters. I just have no idea where I can watch it.
Yes, Will Arnett, because he's Lego Batman.
So it's on Hulu.
Yeah.
And season 1 and season 2 are phenomenal. It's on Fox.
Yeah, I would say it was on TV.
It's abso-friggin-lutely hilarious. Like, they did a really good job with the show. And it's really crazy. Like, there was one challenge where these people had to, the competition was to see how far out you could build from a wall. And all you had were little 1x1 studs that were hanging off the wall that you had to build off of. And so you had a wall of bricks, and there was probably like 4 or 5 one studs sticking out, and you had to connect your building to that.
Right.
There was one team that built something. I think it went out like 5.5 feet.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And it was all hanging on this one brick.
Right. I've watched 1 or 2 episodes, and it is wild. And like, who doesn't like Legos?
Right. They push the envelope of building to the extreme. Like, some of the shit they build, you're like, you can fucking do that? Really?
Right?
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Dude, there are a few Lego YouTube channels that I subscribe to that don't post often. But like they build like legit ass like machines or science experiments using Legos.
Right.
Like there's one guy who goes through and explains how gear ratios work using Legos.
That's cool.
And I have seen him.
That's
Um,
cool.
And like the
watched
gearing
someone-
experiments he does with Legos are insane. Like he got Legos to bend a steel bar, or not bend, but twist a steel bar.
That's cool.
Yep.
It was
I
dope
saw
as
one-
fuck.
I saw one last night about this guy who uses the Lego Technic bricks, and
Oh,
he
yeah.
builds prosthetic arms for people.
That's cool.
I've seen that.
And it's crazy as shit to watch him do this, and you're just like, God, could you imagine the creator of Lego back in Sweden, like 100 years ago when he was making it?
Like
Think
to see
that
what they have
it's
now.
going to be like prosthetic replacement limbs for people? Like, what the fuck?
It's
That's
not only that,
crazy.
there's amusement parks, there's fucking movies, there's video games. Lego's in such a cult, like it gets so culturally like vibrant. Like if I were the creator, I couldn't even think of what the possibility of the growth of Legos were, you know?
Right.
Because
Well,
I
no,
mean,
and
you got Will Ferrell to be in the fucking Lego film, like Will Ferrell, Chris Pratt, like the big named actors being in a Lego movie. Like that's such a big thing. So shout out to the gentleman who created Legos for making everyone's life both happy and miserable when you step on. We've all stepped on a Lego. Sucks.
Yeah, but they have Lego slippers now. They're
I
specially designed for your
saw-
feet to not hurt when you step on fucking Lego.
That is awesome.
Hey, someone saw a need and designed a product to fix it.
Just like from Robots, when Big Weld said, "See a need, fill a need." I watched that movie recently with my dad, it's such a good movie. Robin Williams.
what are we filling?
I was to say, see, I
What are
heard
we
that
filling with
reference,
seed?
and now
Are you
let's say,
talking
see,
about
I-
data uploads again?
No, I
I-
said see a need, fill a need.
you know, Finn, I took that too literal, and now I have 2 children.
Now it sucks to be you, bud. Ole Kirk Christensen. That's a great name. Thank you, gamer. Part of me really hopes you just knew that off the top of your head.
Could you imagine? Like, if you knew it off the top of your head, next time I go to trivia at my local
No,
bar, yeah,
say next time I go to trivia, I'm fucking calling gamer and be like, all right, you're helping. We're doing this.
Okay. So we don't have the thing under our show because this channel isn't technically affiliated. However, all 3 people you currently see on screen are members of the Content Creators Guild.
Correct.
We should, for the Content Creators Guild, do like a trivia bar night some night.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be super cool.
hey, I already know the perfect host for it too.
To fucking Wes.
I was saying, as soon as you said trivia, I'm pretty sure somewhere in Florida he got an erection.
Fucking right?
So somewhere Wes is like, what?
He's like, oh, trivia, someone wants me to host.
That is a very him thing to do.
I need release.
Someone's gonna chase the beast.
Oh.
Yeah, we should go that way.
Okay. I feel bad. He threw me off his Jeopardy show because nobody wanted to play against me. And then we tried to emulate the chase. Where I was the beast and 3 people got to work together to beat me. Still nobody wants to play against me.
As long as we all never do strip poker again, that's just
When did we do that?
good thing that you don't remember. My
Okay,
God, what you guys
you-
did to the pig.
You threw that game just to see us naked.
Hey, I am neither going to confirm nor deny that statement, sir.
Don't be upset because you lost on purpose with a reason.
Yeah,
You lost.
yeah.
You lost for a purpose.
There's always a meaning behind everything I do.
Whether right,
Plot
wrong, or in
twist.
the middle.
Switching gears. Dave, what did we have on tap for video game?
Video game releases, right? That's a segment I do that I'm
That is a
100%
segment you
prepared
do.
for. I am in fact prepared for it though. So over the course of this last week, we had a game called Neon White released. Our friend Dines and probably Wes too will be super excited about it because the core gameplay mechanic in Neon White is speedrunning.
Oh God,
That is the game.
it's a speed running game. Oh, shit.
Basically. I don't know a lot more about it than that, but for a very specific group of people, this game gives them a massive, massive erection.
Imagine speed running. Yeah, I've never speed ran a game ever.
Redoubt 2 was released on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It's a like a hyper Redoubt. The Redoubt series is a hyper futuristic racer. Think F-Zero or what was the other one? Wipeout.
Yeah. MXC.
Yeah. It's the first one was relatively popular. I know it popped up on my Steam page like every couple of weeks there for a couple months at least after it released. Like, hey, this game's doing well. If you like games like this, you should check it out. And I'm like, I'm not really into racers. Also, we have Starship Troopers Terran Command. Came
I
out.
feel like this game came out of nowhere.
It 100% did. It came out on the 16th, only for PC. Nobody
Right.
knew it was coming.
Right, it's like Starship. When I think of Starship Troopers, I think of the '90s, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Boom, motherfucker, he's a video game." And you're like, "What?"
Developed by the Aristocrats, published by Slytherin.
Jesus Christ.
It is a strategy game. So think StarCraft, but Starship Troopers instead.
There's another game. I don't know if you guys talked about it last week that recently came out that kind of had the same release style of like, where the fuck did this come from? And I would say it's the Ninja Turtles game.
Yeah, that came out this last week too. Ninja
Right.
Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
That did the same thing. It's like all of a sudden, like, holy shit, we have a new side scroller Ninja Turtles game. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't even know about that.
yeah, and it actually looks pretty fucking cool. Like, if you're into the classic side-scrolling beat-em-ups, the Ninja Turtle games have always been like a solid choice in that genre.
Right.
And this new one looks like more of the same, but in the best way possible. In other gaming news, Fall Guys released on additional platforms on the 21st, yesterday, and became free to play on all platforms.
See, and to me, that's a scary thing that this game has now gone free to play. That means that they have gone so far down from their initial release, and they were doing crazy things like it was a cheap game. They did free season battle passes, free DLC updates, and now it's a free game. I'm scared for the future of this game. I hope it being released free is going to save it.
The Shadowrun trilogy got released on PS5, Xbox Series, X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. It was already available. All of these games in the trilogy were already available on PC. Epic gives them away a lot. They're solid games though. If you like isometric third-person RPGs, that are tile turn-based, think old school Fallout games. They're super solid and a hell of a lot of fun to play. I played the first, so I played the first one on stream, and I played part of the second one on stream, but there was an issue with the save file, and I didn't want to start over. But yeah, no, they're super solid, and they're available on pretty much anything you have now, unless you have nothing.
Did you guys see the tweet that was just released? It was a couple days ago. I can't remember who sent it out, but it was right after Fall Guys announced that it was getting a Halo skin set for the game. So someone took a picture of that and said, "Isn't it great how Halo's getting all these content releases for every game except for Halo Infinite?"
No, but that's funny.
Because you think about it, you could do Master Chief. He just got a release for his skin in Fortnite. Now they have
Blech.
Fall Guys. Shut up. The new Fortnite's good. Okay.
Yeah, no. You will never ever convince me that Fortnite is a good game.
Play a minimum of 5 rounds with me, and you'll have fun. I promise you.
I have no interest in playing one round or even installing the game.
I think Dave owes me a game. I think he has to play with me once.
No, I
I
don't.
think we agreed to that.
Yes, but that was
thing?
if.
Remember that was thing? If I played Brawlhalla with you, you'd play Fortnite with me, and I
No. Because you wouldn't accept that deal, and then I challenged you in a different way, and then you had to play Brawlhalla with me. Another game that I haven't been able to find anything, or excuse me, before that, Wreckfest.
Ah! Wreckfest.
Released on a bunch of new platforms. Chris has played Wreckfest, so I'll let him field this one.
Oh, I have played Wreckfest. I probably have hundreds of hours in that game. Wreckfest is, in its core, it's a racing game, but it's a demolition derby style racing game where the object is to basically, obviously win a race, but fuck everyone up while you're doing it. There's also a demolition derby feature in it. If you're not into racing games, give this one a try, because it's not a serious thing, but it's a blast. I've had it since early access, pre-alpha and beta. I've had it. I have it on multiple platforms. I've streamed it for so many streams on Twitch. It's a blast. Definitely give it a shot. But it's released on Switch, right, Dave?
Yep.
Yeah, worth it pickup.
And it released on Switch yesterday. And it's available on basically everything now.
We will have to play that because it's on Game Pass.
Is it on? I may or may not have Game Pass currently.
But yeah, if you do download it and we can play it, and I guarantee you'll have so much fun. Because it's just fucking chaos.
Oh yeah.
Especially modded versions.
Dude, okay.
Oh my god.
Do you know what my 2 favorite racing games were when I was growing up? And this is in the pre having a PC.
Twisted Metal and Mario Kart.
Nope.
For Dave, I think it was Ridge Racer and Midnight Club.
Nope. When I had my Nintendo 64, my 2 favorite racing games that I had on that Nintendo 64 were Snowboard Kids, which is a downhill snowboard racing game. It's super cute and adorable. And Beetle Adventure Racing.
Oh, Jesus.
Because you could unlock a Beetle cop car and turn on the lights, and all the other cars racing would pull over.
That's funny.
It's funny as shit.
That's amazing. I love that.
But just like my favorite sports game when I was a kid, playing on Sega Genesis, NBA Jam Tournament Edition.
Oh, dude, NBA Jam was so good.
Because these are sports games that don't take themselves too seriously. And if I'm gonna play a sports style game, I want to play a game that's having fun with itself and with the concept, just like NBA Jam did, just like
Yeah.
Snowboard Kids and Beetle Adventure Racing did.
Dave, did you ever play NFL Street?
Oh, dude, NFL
I
Street
didn't
was awesome.
know.
Dude, you want to talk about a game that was a sports game that didn't take itself too serious? That one you could like run and do tricks off the wall, and it
See,
was
I've
just, like,
I've heard NFL
it
Street
was
is
amazing.
basically like the football version of NBA Jam.
Right. They did. What else did they do? They did FIFA Street. They did
NBA Street.
NBA Street. But
That's-
no,
Look,
the
I
NFL
won't
Street
do.
was
I won't.
insane.
I will not play any game with the FIFA name or soccer associated with it until the rest of the world realizes that it's called soccer and football is a game where grown ass men beat the piss out of each other.
Well, the good thing is, Dave, you don't have to worry about it because FIFA and EA have parted ways.
Wait,
So
what?
The games going forward will not be called FIFA. They no longer have the ability to do that.
When did this happen?
Like a month and a half ago.
Why did I not hear about this?
I don't know. But yeah, going forward, the EA, I think they're gonna call them like soccer simulators or something like that.
Oh,
Let me
because
check.
the FIFA games have been the best games that EA Sports have pumped out for the last 15 years.
Oh, guys, do you think it would be funny to watch me play Football Manager 2022? The whole time thinking it's about American football and being really confused why stuff isn't working the way I think it should.
You should. That would be hilarious. It was May 10th. FIFA and EA Sports end a decade-long video game partnership.
Yeah, those games have been the best for years.
And essentially, it's like what Bear is saying that FIFA wanted more money. And EA is like, yeah, go pound dirt.
That's funny.
People buy and like the games because they're solid, not because your name is attached to them.
Yeah, because they want
I
to play
would-
as their favorite clubs. That's really.
I would disagree. I think that the diehard soccer fan, saw FIFA and didn't give a shit about it. They were like, "Oh, FIFA, I want to play it."
Well, because Pro what is it? Pro Elite Soccer is also another like soccer game that's made, and it's not nearly as good as the FIFA games. Like not even fucking close. A lot of features that NHL games and Madden, like a lot of those games, like the features that they incorporate is from earlier FIFA games where they tried stuff out, because FIFA's the the highest selling sports game on the planet, like hands down.
Right.
He still has license for most of the teams and leagues.
Yeah, basically
Yeah.
they just need to pick up a few more individual licenses, which I'm sure they can do for far cheaper than what FIFA wanted to charge them.
Yeah,
And people will still get to play as their
favorite clubs.
favorite
yeah.
clubs.
Like honestly,
Like,
like
Manchester United!
he makes that joke, and I'm actually a Manchester United fan. But no, like as long I look at it this way, I feel like as long as I could still play as every MLS team, and even that's a good route for EA to do, is to make, instead of making FIFA, you can make two games. You can make one specifically for Major League Soccer and like really incorporate your American soccer fan base, and then make another version that includes it but also includes everything else. I feel like that's a good compromise. 150 mil before tax. FIFA wanted. Wow. That's insane. That's insane.
I think that EA needs to go back to making fun sport games like NFL Street, and
Well, the
the
market's
goofy
not
shit.
there anymore.
I think it's there.
Well, because of esports, I don't think they're going to worry about it, because esports with EA are so big now. Like when the NHL network is broadcasting esports, and like ESPN is now broadcasting sports esports as well as like Overwatch and shit. I don't think worrying about those AAA companies worrying about making fun type of games, like that's not their wheelhouse anymore. They make more money off of esports. And schmucks like me that'll pay for EA access just to get a discount on the next fucking Madden game, like
Speaking of the next Madden game, I think they did a phenomenal job with the cover.
Oh, John Madden absolutely was the
Right.
only decision.
If
Like-
they would have put anyone on the cover of this game, that anyone that wasn't John Madden, they would have immediately tanked the game.
Oh, 100%, because that's all people wanted, especially after his passing. They're like, there's no one else that can be on the cover.
Right. There's no one else that we want on the cover.
Yeah, one final time to see John Madden on the cover of Madden, and
I do have one more game. It released today.
Okay.
It's called Last Days of Lazarus, developed by Darkania Works and published by Grim Talon.
Yep.
Or Talon. Spelled with an A and an I. Anyway. I can't find anything about this fucking game. The cover art that they have looks like it could be a screenshot from the game.
What is it called?
Last Days of Lazarus. I'm trying to pull it up on Steam now. I looked online and I couldn't find shit. It just kept showing me stuff for The Quarry.
Oh, the tags are adventure, horror, investigation, and atmospheric. Do you want me to read the description?
Yeah, go ahead.
It says, after their mother's suicide, Lazarus returns to home to see his sister, Ludmilla, but unexplained events make the world and even reality collapse around him. Looming death and spreading malediction and the supernatural threaten his sanity, yet Lazarus pushes forward to find the truth about his family.
Okay. So,
Interesting.
this looks like think a Myst style game or The
Okay.
Room style game.
Like a puzzle game type.
Yeah, 100%. This actually looks like it could be really cool. And it's currently on sale. So I think we need to figure out definitely Layers of Fear vibe. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And Layers of Fear was incredible.
Oh, great game.
But I think this could be a fun one to stream.
Oh yeah.
It's from a very small publisher, Grim Talon. It looks
I
like
can't
they only
think of
have
anything that they've
like 4
done.
games. No, 3. They only have 3 games. And
They have
all
4.
seem to be like puzzle games.
Oh no, they have 3. That's a DLC.
Yeah, that's a DLC.
And they're all puzzle games. And if they're doing a puzzle focused thing and then they make this style puzzle game, it's probably going to be pretty good.
Especially because this is like, from looking at their other 2 games, this is one of the most graphically intense games that they've put out. Every other one seems to be very cartoony.
Probably primarily focused on solid puzzle mechanics as opposed to graphics.
Which is probably smart.
Yeah.
Build the foundation of a great game and then put out what you learn into a good game, which could be this.
Yeah, this could be super solid. This might be a sleeper.
We'll have to keep an eye on it.
For sure.
I do have a game to discuss with both of you gentlemen. That hasn't gotten we have the information like that it's going to exist. We just haven't heard anything since because they've kept it really close to their chests, but BioShock 4 was announced a few years ago and then confirmed to be in development last year. And I was just scrolling through Game Rant and somebody was talking about last week a couple like possible settings for the new one that would be good ideas. Now I don't know, Dave, how I think you've only played the first one and part of the second one, right?
Of what?
BioShock.
Oh no, I've played all 3.
Oh, you have? Maul, have you played all 3?
The first one was the only one I hadn't beaten, and I beat that on stream.
Oh, okay.
I tried one and couldn't get through it.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of like the BioShock, and I don't really.
I'm gonna try it again because I own the collection, but
Yeah.
it didn't really catch me.
To whereas one of my favorite games of all time is Bioshock Infinite. So this article is about the three best possible settings for Bioshock 4. Obviously, the return to Rapture would be a good option.
I don't know. I feel like their stories in Rapture are pretty done.
Yeah.
Like, most of the people in the upper echelon have been dealt with in one way or another by
Right.
the end of the first 2 games.
Another one, you could bring the game to space, because I mean, you think of games right now that are super popular with space, like Prey, Alien Isolation, like you have that feeling of, you know, a slight horror game in space, and they could come up with some super cool storylines for that.
Here's the thing, though. You guys have both played and beaten all 3 of them, right?
Yeah, several times.
The last one, Bioshock Infinite. Did they leave it at a point where they could continue that storyline? Or
Well,
is that dead in the water?
That's the last spot, because it literally opens up a multiverse at the end of the third Bioshock game. So that's the last one that they talk about could be a perfect setting.
Yeah, it opens up literally infinite more possibilities. That's why it was called Bioshock Infinite.
So with that being said, do you guys feel playing all 3 of the games and beating them and knowing obviously clearly a lot more than I do you feel that if they release a 4th game, it could be risky and hurting the franchise?
No, specifically because Bioshock fans have been screaming for it for years. Since the release of Infinite, but the fans of the series have been begging 2K to make a 4th game.
The fans want to explore more of this universe, though.
Yeah,
the storylines aren't going to be about the events that surrounded Rapture anymore.
Yeah.
They're going to be the effect that those and this is I'm not saying this for certain, but this is where I think it should go and where I think they'll take it. It's not going to be around the events that surround Rapture anymore, because even Infinite was related to what happened in Rapture in really weird ways, but it was.
Okay, so with that being said, do you think that they should continue the franchise but under a different name?
No.
No.
Because I think it's going to be what influence those events had on the greater world. And the name Bioshock is directly alluding to the genetic experimentation that was going on the residents of Rapture. And sometimes they'd splice too much and then they'd go crazy. They would experience like a biological shock to their system that fucked things up, right? And I think we're going to see that on a grander scale. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they took this in a similar direction to how Halo took the Master Chief Collection and make it a quasi-open world game.
Hey, real quick, I just got a email on my phone from a PC Gamer website that said that Valve just filed a patent for their next VR headset, and it's going to be cordless.
Oh shit, that's big.
There is no
That doesn't
cord
surprise me.
in the patent for their next headset.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Phenomenal. I'm
Yeah.
excited to see what they're going to do.
Short-range wireless communication has improved to a point where you can get really high frame rates in really high definition wirelessly now.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you that's what Valve has been waiting for.
Yeah.
Is hardware that could do it. Both on the transmission and reception side, and on something that can be battery powered and powerful enough to have the type of displays that they like.
Right.
Also, I saw today that someone was able to take an SD card that goes into your cell phone and put 1.5 terabytes of memory on it.
Jesus.
So that means our ability to store information is now getting smaller, which means we may eventually be close to the next level of storage size.
The fucking dude, all I know is in our lifetime, honestly, probably within the next 15 to 20 years, we will have the Oasis.
I don't know what the Oasis is.
Have you ever seen Ready Player One or
No.
read the books?
No.
Yeah, it's this. It's basically what meta.
I know what you're
like,
talking about now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, going back to BioShock really quick. A movie is in the with Netflix
Ooh, nice.
with Henry
it-
Cavill being
is it-
fronted.
Animated?
I don't know. There's no specifics. There's a possibility it could be animated. There's a possibility it could be live action.
I would like to see it
Uh,
live action if
I
they're
think it would be
willing to
better
commit
animated,
the
though.
budget to making it live action.
Yeah.
Like,
Qu-
I don't want to see a whole bunch of 3D animated sets with live action. I want to see practical fucking set construction to fucking do it right, please.
Yeah.
Because more than half the draw of BioShock is the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And
it
if you
takes,
fuck that up, you're done.
well, Take-Two is closely going to be working with Netflix. The deal, I believe, was done because I heard about this back in February. I haven't heard anything since. I do know that it's in development. But Take-Two has already said that they're closely going to be working with Netflix on that. One other game that I just saw, I got a tweet from.
Well, and that's before we move on. That's one thing I will give Take-Two. They are very, very
hands-on.
Careful with the aesthetics of their games. Look at the Borderlands franchise.
And
If you
don't
see a
they have some
screenshot
sort
from a
of-
game with nothing on it that's recognizably Borderlands, you still know it's Borderlands.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, that's Take-Two. They're not a company that's ever been known to mess around,
Right.
like at all. But speaking of EA, to go back to them, I got a tweet a few hours ago from a friend that talks about a game that has been another one that's been being begged for years. EA announced that at some point in July, Skate 4 may be complete or to a point where they can finally reveal some information. They are aiming for next year as a release. But yeah, no, we've been begging for Skate 4 since Skate 3 came out, which was forever ago. That game came out on the Xbox 360, and we've been begging since for them to put out a fourth game.
Hey.
And it was
you
confirmed
shut
last
that,
year.
No. You shut the hell up. I'm still waiting for Half-Life 3.
All right, well, you know,
That'll never happen because Valve doesn't release 3 of any game.
no.
So you are screwed by the curse of Valve, my friend.
What's the other third game that people are waiting for him to release? Team Fortress?
Left 4 Dead 3.
Oh, and Left 4 Dead 3 was released. It's called Back for Blood.
And it was a monumental shit fest.
I don't know. I thought it was
a great
okay.
game. It's fun to
Yeah.
play.
Once. It's fun to play once.
I've streamed that
That's
shit ton
fa-
of times.
You're very few.
Well, you gotta
see.
think, I never
I feel
played the
that
Left
though
4 Dead
because
same
I could.
franchise anyway.
Okay, well, see,
Yeah.
that's why. If you knew the Left 4 Dead franchise, you could play it over and over and over and over and over again, and it was really good. And then you get to Back for Blood, and all of a sudden you're just like, it feels like they tried to make it Left 4 Dead without crossing any copyright laws. you
Well, because
know.
it's the original creators of Left 4 Dead.
Right, Turtle Rock Studio.
Yeah.
I'm scared for the future of their studio after the release of this game.
Look,
I
all I'm
mean,
gonna
it
say is, it feels like that meme. Hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it a little so they don't know. And going into it, I knew that was the intent.
Right.
The spiritual
everyone
successor to Left 4 Dead.
And that's what
I was on
got
board with it.
So much popularity, and then when people played it and it released, and you're like,
And you're like,
this-
yeah, this really just is trying to be Left 4 Dead, but isn't.
Right.
And it didn't feel like anybody expected it to feel. It didn't feel rewarding.
Yeah, I'm.
And
definitely with
Maul,
you.
I hate to tell you, we are going to get a Half-Life 3, but it will be in VR, and it's probably already in development to
Look,
be
all I'm
released
saying
along
is
with the next index.
if Half-Life 3 comes out, then there's future hope for a Left 4 Dead 3 and a Team Fortress 3
So,
and every other game that Valve fails to release a third version of.
if Half-Life 3 launches with they're probably going to call it the Index 2. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And I'm right. Will you buy me the game?
We'll have to see what the release cost is.
That's super fair.
I don't think I've seen anything on Half-Life 3, or
You
I was
won't.
gonna say, if
Yeah.
gas
Dude,
wasn't
nobody
$5
saw
right
anything
now, I
on
would be
Half-Life
yes.
2 or on Half-Life Alyx. That was like completely under wraps until like a month before it launched.
that sounds like some Valve shit. Any other video games before we switch topics?
Um,
Anything
Scroll
else?
through right now.
yeah, I want to talk about that fucking game we've been playing, Roller Champions.
Oh yeah.
I know we keep coming back to it, but like it feels like it could be the next Rocket League. And yes, this Steam summer sale starts tomorrow, so for those of you with money, super dope. Get on board with that. And if you guys want to see us, so we want to play the Quarry here on the channel.
Right.
With you guys.
Correct. Bear
if-
the same thing that none of us know about.
If you want to help make that happen, donate it to the channel, the money, and put it in your like donation note.
Yeah. Because
If there's a game that you want to see us play as a channel, just donate the money to pick it up or buy a key and send it to one of us.
Yeah, because
And
I've
just
seen,
let us
I've
know
seen
it's for the
gameplay,
channel.
and that game looks phenomenal.
I saw like 35 minutes of gameplay and then I stopped watching because I didn't want anything spoiled. Because in a
Spoilers?
game like
Yeah.
that, spoilers suck.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it is phenomenal. One of my favorite content creators, I have watched them play it through twice.
Who?
Angry Pug, completely reversing his decisions and trying to play completely opposite. And from start to finish, it's a really good game. Any way you play through it.
Right.
Right. Also,
And the fact that Brenda Song is in it, like
right?
Yeah. There's a lot of people in that.
And that doesn't just go for the Quarry. If you want to see us play any of the games that we've talked about, that we've expressed interest in, like Last
Right.
Days of Lazarus, for instance, just let us know.
Well,
And
yeah,
if we have the money, we'll make it happen.
we've talked about doing gaming on the channel anyway as well, as like a little side thing to whatever we're doing.
But have it be like games that the community can be involved in, like decision making for, or games like Last Days of Lazarus where the community can help with puzzles, or games like The Quarry where the community can help with decisions. Because this show isn't about us, it's about all of you guys.
Also, in about an hour, I want to throw this out there. In about an hour, you guys, we will have our official first video uploaded to our YouTube channel. I'm currently in the process of uploading yesterday's Double D Estrogen Power Hour. You guys will find every show that we do on here minus Community Game Night. What we're going to do with that is we're going to do some highlights, as well as some exclusive stuff that's going to come your way. Vlogs, we're going to have exclusive gaming, we're going to have exclusive talk shows. There's a chance that there could be exclusive like shows specifically. So we will get that to you guys as soon as here. Let me.
Yeah, get them a link because we don't have
Yeah.
100. So as soon as we get 100 subscribers, it'll be youtube.com/LTN Media.
Correct.
LTN_media. But you have to hit 100 subscribers before you can get a custom URL.
And
If you're looking for a custom URL to YouTube to follow, though,
yeah.
youtube.com/Dave Levels Up.
Correct.
I have. I'm just gonna tell him about Planetary. Can I tell him about Planetary real quick?
It's your account, man. Go for it.
I'm
It's
real
your
excited
channel.
to tell him about Planetary. Okay, so I have an idea for a Minecraft series where instead of focusing on, the things in the mod pack and building and the quest book and everything else, I'm gonna try to focus on like a narrative story where I get flung through time and I'm lost and alone on a desolate world, and I have to find a way to escape not only that world to places where I can find better things, but build a time machine to get back to my own time so I can tell you guys about it.
Right. Actually, Dave, do you want to maybe give them a little sneak peek at our new YouTube specific intro?
Yeah, let me download it real quick.
You still haven't downloaded it?
No, I also don't remember where it's at.
It's.
Is it in business?
Yeah. I mean, I can send it to you right now.
No, I got it.
You got it? All right. You guys get a chance to check us out. We haven't shown anyone yet. That's not a part of like the business side of LTN. So you guys are in for treats. I mean, it will be at the end of each talk show that we break down and put up. But it'll also be our intro title card for everything, including on Twitch at some points if we need it, which is exciting. I'm very proud of it. I actually used my creative skills and did something good. Normally Dave's our creative guy, so
And that was it.
it's a quick little blurb. But yeah, that is our YouTube intro. I'm very happy with.
It's logo card.
Logo
our
card,
logo
whatever. Whatever. You know what I was trying to say, goddammit. Okay, so I think it's time to switch gears to our favorite segment usually, which is Musician of the Week. And this week we honor not just a single musician, but a band. And not just any band, but a band that was instrumental in making modern metal what it is today. In 1981, drummer Lars Ulrich placed an ad in a Los Angeles newspaper, and thus Metallica was born. Vocalist and guitarist James Hetfield, guitarist Kirk Hammett, and bassist Cliff Burton round out which your original four members on their first album, all the way up to an unfortunate tour bus accident which tragically took the life of Cliff Burton. The band had a bit of a revolving door in the bassist area until Rob Trujillo took over in 2003 and has been a mainstay since. Metallica is known for being one of the big four metal bands in the 80s alongside Megadeth, Slayer, and Anthrax. 10 studio albums, 4 live albums, 1 cover album, 9 Grammys from 23 nominations, 150 million albums sold wide, and their last 6 albums have consecutively debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. With their blend of harmonizing guitars, offbeat cymbal use, and Hetfield's powerful vocals, Metallica's music is easily recognizable to anyone. Their modern influence on modern bands helped shape the way the metal scene is today. And the 2009 Rock and Roll Hall of Famers still getting it done. Maul, I'll pass this off to you because I know you and I share a massive like massively same taste in metal, or just in music in general. But what made Metallica stand out above the other members of what was called the core, or like the big four bands in the 80s?
For me personally, 100%, it was James Hetfield's voice. His voice just pulls you in. It's unique, it's different, and out of the big four, I think Metallica was one of the very few that, without knowing the genre of the music and how to listen to it where you could understand it, you could hear all of the lyrics, right?
Mhm.
Like Slayer and Megadeth and Anthrax, a lot of their songs, to essentially the untrained ear, sound like muffled garbage.
Fair.
But to someone who...
No, it's true. Classic metal to a lot of people just sound like fucking noise.
Right,
Mhm.
it's essentially like how people who listen to like pop and rap are like, oh, how do you listen to screamo? It's like, no, if you actually listen to it, you can hear what they're saying. But that's kind of how, out of the big four, the rest of them were. Metallica was the one that pushed the envelope to actual clarity with their vocals, and I think James Hetfield did a really good job of portraying it in a way that was unique compared to the rest.
Right. And it's funny enough to mention that Dave Mustaine, who is the lead singer of Megadeth, was the original singer in Metallica until they kicked him the fuck out.
Right, because granted, he is a really good singer,
But he's not a good guy.
right? I mean, like the easiest way I can describe it is like back when I did band, right? And some of the vocals, it sounds like shoes in a dryer. Like, you know they're there, but you don't know what the hell it's supposed to sound like or what it's supposed to be.
Right.
And I think Metallica has a lot of songs that they're catchy, they're memorable, like Enter Sandman, one, to say a few. Like, who doesn't know what Enter Sandman is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like,
Everyone knows Enter Sandman.
everyone and their mother knows that song.
Yeah.
And I think what pushed them to modern popularity was Guitar Hero. I think Guitar Hero gave a generation of people who weren't susceptible to that genre of music the ability to listen to them, and then that is what helped them with today's crowd. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Dave, you have anything you want to add on that?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
All right,
real talk though. I don't know. Metallica's like, it's shit that you can just listen to, right? And the
Yeah.
same can't be said for a lot of the other early metal groups, right? Like, Metallica's one of those things, and their songs have like complex moods and feelings, you know, and there's like, it's a whole ass fucking experience, you know, and a lot of the early stuff from the other three, it's good, but it's one note.
Yeah.
In experience, not in tone.
Yeah.
Right? It's like when you want lemonade, you have a lemonade, but a lemonade has one flavor. Lemon. And sugar. You know, and a lot of these bands were lemonade, and then you get Metallica, who's more like, we'll say Dr. Pepper, or a good whiskey. There's complexity in what's going on there. To a level that the other guys really don't hit.
Well, and you think their shortest song is 3 minutes and 11 seconds, and that wasn't even until their newest album, which came out like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, so if you think about the modern Metallica song, it's anywhere 5 to 8 minutes.
I think another good way you could describe Metallica is they are a band that, in my opinion, is much like Eminem, right? No matter what genre of music you like, if you hear Eminem, you know it, you love it, you sing to it, regardless of who you are.
Absolutely.
Metallica is that for heavy metal.
I think, and Metallica, yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah, 100%.
I think, obviously, the chord progressions that they use, and the way that they use harmonizing guitar. Because I know Slayer was known for that. Megadeth used that some, but it's less of a, oh, we can play the same thing at the same time, to where James and Kirk were just fucking vibing with each other.
Right.
And you have two guitarists that are equally as talented as the other, and they just feed off of each other.
And they push each other, which
yeah.
is great.
I think another thing is Lars Ulrich, his drum pattern, like the way his style is on drum. If you ever listen to when he hits like the crash cymbals or whatever, they're offbeat. It's offbeat from a traditional drum beat. Yep. Which it's on purpose. It sets him apart. Even in Blackened, there's a segment where the whole thing is like off tempo on purpose. Then they like briefly for like 16 bars go back on tempo, and then in the middle of the song they go off tempo again without anyone realizing it. Like, you don't even think about it. Your brain doesn't actually think about it unless you're trained to hear that sort of tempo shift.
I think the other thing that Metallica did well is the core members of the group, right? They inspired so many artists to pick up an instrument and form bands that we love today. One that I can think of off the top of my head, Slipknot.
Oh, yes, they've talked about, they were massive Metallica fan.
Well,
they're everything that they do and everything that they wanted to be was Metallica.
Except for Corey Taylor's also, and we had Corey a few weeks ago. He's talked about how like Prince and like, you know, artists like that also influenced him too. So it's, you know.
Well, and like without Metallica, we also wouldn't have, honestly, we probably wouldn't have the Foo Fighters.
Right.
For sure.
Because Metallica influenced more than just the metal genre. Metallica influenced alternative and rock very heavily, because they were using, in heavy music, they were using complex progressions that most other people weren't.
Right.
But it sounded real good.
I'm gonna tell you, I've been playing guitar at this point for 20 years. I started when I was 10. I will be 30 within the next 6 months. My favorite pieces to play are Metallica songs. Because are they complex? A little bit, but they flow better than fucking anything else. Like, Enter Sandman's a blast to play, Master of Puppets is a blast to play. I love playing Fuel, Some Kind of Monster. Like, I can go on and on, just songs from them that I love to play, because it's not about complexity, and you can play one of their songs if you've only been playing for like 6 months, and you can learn. It helps you learn flow and finger positioning and building up, not only strengthen your fingers, but being able to learn how to play faster and more upbeat and different complex progressions.
I guarantee you Dragon Force wouldn't exist the way they are now without Metallica.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But, like, so I've seen them in 2 interviews, and in both of them, if I remember correctly, they mentioned Metallica, very specifically. You know, but there's a lot of stuff that we wouldn't have the way it is today without Metallica. Well, I feel like a lot of even modern, like, more pop bands would be very different without the influence of Metallica. Like,
absolutely.
One Republic.
Yeah. Ryan Tedder's talked about how he grew up loving Metallica in several interviews.
But One Republic has one thing very much in common with Metallica. And that's
their songs are complex.
Their songs are complex, but lyrically they tell stories. right? And that's one thing
Yeah.
Metallica always did.
Mhm.
The stories weren't
Yeah.
always complex, but there was always a story in the song.
One, I think, is the biggest, like the most notable. You know, if you want to talk about storytelling, that song everyone knows one.
Right.
And if you just listen to the words, you know.
But more than a metal band, I would I would say Metallica is a folk band in the traditional sense of the word.
Just by the lyrical sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I would agree.
you know. And Metallica, I feel, really kind of spearheaded that type of storytelling into harder styles of music.
I have a Line 6 amp because of Metallica. Because that is the brand that they've been using for the last 20 years. And that is specifically why I use Line 6 guitar amps. It's because of Metallica. I will say this, though, when it comes to the bassist side of things, obviously they had a bit of a revolving door after Burton's death.
Okay, so I will say after Burton's death, though, that revolving door did interesting things for their bass lines.
It did, because obviously
there's one
most
song, and
notably
I don't
Jason
remember.
Newsted.
Well, I don't remember what song it is, but there's one song where the band is playing in 4/4 time, all of them,
Yeah.
except the bassist who is playing
The
in
bassist.
7/4.
Yeah,
And I don't remember what song it is, but once you realize that's why it fits, but it sounds different.
yeah. So that opening solo in For Whom the Bell Tolls, that do 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 do,
Mm-hmm.
that's on bass. Cliff Burton's playing that on bass. But I think
Yeah, he's just
They
playing
hit-
it way up the neck.
yeah, I think they hit the nail on the head with bringing in Rob Trujillo, though. When they brought him in 03, I think
Yeah.
if Cliff was to ever have to talk about a successor, that would have been it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he kills it with that opening, that
Well,
badass
didn't-
opening riff in King Nothing, and
So
it
Flea was our musician of the week
yeah.
a couple weeks ago. And I think I don't think he toured with Metallica, but I think he performed with them a couple times, didn't he?
I'm sure.
But I mean,
sure
it's
he
Flea, the
toured,
man who
yeah.
plays with everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know what his grades were like in school, but I guarantee you the works and plays well with others box was probably always checked. Because this guy just seems that... I love Flea, though. Like...
They've had 5 different bassists, 4 after Cliff died. So... Oh no, Jesus, I didn't realize Hardwired to Self-Destruct came out in 2016.
Oh my
They're
god,
supposed
has it
to-
been that long already?
Yeah!
They're supposed to be working on
Holy
new music.
shit.
They've been saying for the past couple years that there's something new in the works. Should come out in the next couple years, which I'm fucking amped for.
Oh, for sure. Hardwired Self-Destruct was a phenomenal
It
album.
was
Well,
so
and
good.
the thing is, Metallica...
And it's a double album.
Right.
And this is the thing I love about Metallica. Unlike the other 3 bands that they kind of spearheaded the genre with, they grew and kept developing and growing, and they're still growing and developing. Their sound now isn't the same as it was then.
Well, and
Oh,
the
for
biggest
sure.
complaint people had was when they released Saint Anger. And a lot of people don't understand that that's a concept album and the sound behind it is specific to there's a reason. I
Right.
thought it was a good album. A lot of people were not a fan, but you look at how they changed, especially once Death Magnetic hit in 08, that was like earth-shattering for the music community because Metallica was like, hey guys, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do the same shit we've always done. We've evolved it to mix what we've always done with what's hot now. And Death Magnetic, I think, is one of their best albums.
But yeah, their ability to grow and adapt and their willingness to continue learning and experiencing music as it evolves
Yeah.
is super impressive because you don't get that from big names like that typically. The Rolling Stones sound the same as they did 40 fucking years ago.
AC/DC, Kiss.
AC/DC sounds the same as they did 40 fucking years ago.
And I think it lends to what we talked about last week with Shinoda and Linkin Park. Metallica's another example of a band that wasn't afraid to evolve. They weren't afraid to grow up in a sense.
Right. Well,
Um,
and
and
the thing is, in bands like that, you can really feel their love for just music.
which is why it's taking them so long since what fucking if you think after Reload, they've only released, which came out in 97, they've only released 3 albums since, and each time it gets farther and farther apart because they're at a point where they are so meticulous, and especially Lars, they're so meticulous about what they put out that they aren't just sitting here pumping out new music to stay relevant. They're always going to be relevant, but they're going to put out music that their fans will love. And it's specifically because they want to hone in the perfect sound, the
Well,
perfect
not
song
only that
and
their
everything.
fans will love, but that will be interesting to people who are unfamiliar with them.
Yeah. Like, I
Right?
feel like I need to go back and listen to Hardwired to Self-Destruct again because I haven't listened to it in a while.
Because even if you don't like the way their sound has evolved on one particular album, which is totally fine, right?
Yeah.
Like, people are allowed to like what they like. Fuck it.
Mhm.
But that being said, you have to respect that their sound is always cohesive on an album, like across the album. It's super cohesive. And it's always interesting.
Yeah.
There's always something there that kind of like catches you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I ask you guys a bit of a personal question. In both of your minds, what is Metallica's best album? Dave, we'll start with you. I know it's a thinker because you got to think back. We've got
So it's
10
funny you
albums.
asked that because I'm actually looking through their discography right now because I was thinking about that. I was like, fuck, what is their best album?
Oh, okay. So
So I'm looking through it conveniently right now.
I'm just because of nostalgia factor, and I can't fucking remember which album it came off of, but the album with Enter Sandman.
Oh,
It
the
was-
Black Album.
Yeah,
Black Album,
the
thank
Black
you.
Album.
Just because there's so much nostalgia there for me, because that was one of like our must plays when we went to the pool hall. Well, the pool hall attached to the bowling alley because they were
Yeah.
in the same building. But they had like 14 pool tables. That's a pool
Yeah.
hall.
Yeah, that is absolutely.
I don't care if it's attached to a bowling alley. That is a pool hall, especially when it has its like own door and shit.
Right. Yeah, it came out in 91. That has some iconic songs on it.
Oh yeah, but like Enter Sandman, like when me and my friend group showed up, this is the same place I told you about the valve stem cores and the accident with the brakes.
Oh, yeah.
This is the place I was hanging out at. When
Same
we
place.
came, when me and my friend group showed up on a Friday night, because we all made sure we were off work by 9:00 on a Friday night, because it was tradition to meet up at the pool hall at 9:30, shoot some pool, just hang out and be, right? I would walk in the door and somebody would put on Enter Sandman without fail.
That's so sick.
Because I did it. Like, and I'd been going there forever, right? And the first thing I'd do when I'd show up is I'd put Enter Sandman on the jukebox, because it's one of those songs that just kind of gets you fucking jazzed and ready and like
All
you're
bouncy
gonna
and
do
shit, yeah.
shit. And it eventually got to a point where I didn't have to do it. Somebody else played it. They knew I'd play a bunch of songs they would like anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just fucking hang out and play pool.
Right.
And then occasionally a new guy shows up and there's beef, and that's a story for another time that I'm not sure I can even actually tell, because it might still be able to be prosecuted.
It might still be statute of limitations.
I don't know if there's a statute of limitations in what happened.
Yeah.
But some stuff happened. Everybody's fine.
Ma, what do you think?
The biggest casualties were 2 vehicles.
Because I have a super well, not really unpopular opinion, but one that I always make people think with.
For what your favorite album?
What I think Metallica's best album is. It's not even my
So-
favorite one. I think it's their best album.
I think their best one is probably one way back, and I would say it's probably the Black Album, but my favorite one is Death Magnet.
Oh, Death Magnetic's so good.
The reason for that is because that is around the time that I was starting to get into heavier rock and heavy metal and getting away from listening to rap and pop. And the song that pulled me into it off of this album in particular was All Nightmare Long.
I can play that on guitar. I can play the whole. That's the first Metallica song I learned how to play on guitar.
So
in
when you
full.
talk about a song that has a story, like watch the fucking video to All Nightmare Long, because it is 8 minutes of just pure awesomeness.
The
And
most fun riff to play from that song is right after, or like right in like the middle, when you just hear the music stop and then Lars hits it, you just that's like one of the that's like so fun to play on guitar. But
So,
I will say, so let me hit you guys with this thought. The most popular opinion says that Master of Puppets is the band's best work.
It's a really good album.
It is, and I disagree with it. Do you know what I think their best album of all time is?
The experimental one that everyone else hates.
No, And Justice for All.
Ooh, also a really
Justice
good
for All
album.
is a really good one.
Because think what's on it. Blackened, And Justice for All, One, The Shortest Straw, Harvester of Sorrow, like Dyer's Eve, which are songs that just, are monumental to the fundamentals of what that band is. So anytime someone says, "Oh no, the Master of Puppets is their best album," like Master of Puppets is great, but Injustice for All is better.
And people are allowed to have different opinions.
Yeah. It's one.
Mal
of
and
those
I both
fun...
think it's their Black Album, but I
Which-
think a lot of that is nostalgia for us.
Oh, for sure. Who doesn't love the Black Album?
One of the only songs that, in my opinion, stands out on Master of Puppets is Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
Every other song on the album, you're just like, I can't remember them. If I heard them, I'd probably recognize them, but
Yeah.
I can't plug it in and jam out to it with an air guitar because I know what it's going to sound like.
Right.
Well,
Right.
I mean, Battery, Sanitarium, Leper Messiah, Orion. Like songs that once you like think about, it's like, oh yeah. But no, I totally agree. The Black Album's like iconic.
So Mal mentioned music videos. I have a band that we have to talk about. We can do it right now if you guys want.
Well, I got one more question and a couple things.
Okay.
So, and we're what, about half hour out. We still have like one more segment. So tell you what, tease it, and we can talk about them next week.
Okay. 9 Inch Nails.
Oh my God, why have we not talked about Trent Reznor?
We've never talked about 9 Inch Nails on the channel.
I
and-
love
They were
9 Inch Nails.
just in Maine not too long ago with Motionless in White and Black Veil Brides.
Oh my God, have
Nice.
you heard Motionless in White's new album?
Yeah, they were part. It was the Trinity of Terror tour, and it was
It's
badass.
so good.
I
Dude.
feel like
I've
Motionless in White just came out of nowhere.
And like
I've listened to that album probably 4 times since it's released. It's so fucking good.
in my opinion, 9 Inch Nails is to this day like the yardstick by which all other industrial metal is measured.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, yeah. Because Trent was doing some experimental shit no one was doing.
And it's so just
There you go. You guys got a sneak peek at who might be our musician of the week for our next episode on Wednesday.
And the Closer video, man.
Mm.
It's just so like
Johnny Cash covered a 9 Inch Nails song. Can we talk about, like, come on.
yeah. Well, and the 9 Inch
How
Nails
awesome
covered
is that?
Hurt.
Yeah, how awesome is that?
I mean, so I'm looking through a list of industrial metal bands, and there are a few that pop out with 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah. Like that
Marilyn
shows.
Manson.
Yep.
Right, but without 9 Inch Nails, I don't think we would have got Manson.
We probably would have, but not in the same aspect.
Not in the same aspect.
Yeah, we would have gotten Manson, but not the same.
Right. I mean, Manson only came out a year after 9 Inch
Yeah.
Nails. So
They kind of fed
very
off of
close,
each other.
yeah. For sure.
But, well, it's so fucking... I love industrial metal because industrial metal is the one subgenre in music where the primary melody is typically driven by a bass or a bass-like instrument.
Right.
It gives you just that like that energy that comes up from like your grundle
To grundle, the taint, the grundle, the fleshy fun bridge.
and just like fills you, and it doesn't have to be in like negative emotions either. It can just be like this. Let's fuck shit up. We got this.
I'll tell you what.
Oh,
Save that for next week, my guy.
I didn't realize
I'll-
I was this passionate about this genre of music
Oh,
until
yeah,
right
save
now.
Save that for next week.
Welcome to my
Um,
self-discovery, ladies and gentlemen.
One more question before we wrap up the segment. Head on to new releases and where does Metallica rank? And I say best bands of all time, but artist wise in general, artists the best. Where do they rank? Maul, I guess we'll start with you.
I would say in the top 20. I wouldn't put them in the top 10 just because there are other bands that were more influential to me that I would put ahead of Metallica for number of songs that I like, relatability, stuff like that. I would definitely put them up there, just not high on a list for me.
Okay, fair. Dave?
I was gonna say the same. I was gonna say top 25, not top 10. My top 10 tends to be pretty fluid. Like for instance, currently in my top 10, like artists of all time are DJ Quads and Odd Chap. And if
Okay.
you've seen the Double D Estrogen Power Hour, you've heard something by Odd Chap. Their intro song is by Odd Chap.
Yeah.
Cause I love like good like electro swing and like mixing older styles of music with like a modern punch.
Yeah.
And some of these guys are doing really interesting things, and we haven't seen this kind of like mashing and melding of like genres to create something that is truly its own thing in a long time.
Yeah.
The electro swing thing, I feel like electro swing is the new punk.
Possibly.
Because it's super like indie and underground right now. But more and more people are getting into it. And it's, if you could listen to a steampunk picture, that is what electro swing is.
Yes. We're gonna have to
Uh
have electro swing be a topic too for Dave.
we should. It's such a cool fucking thing.
It is. I didn't know about it until you showed it to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is dope."
And it is 100% its own thing. Like, yes, it's electro swing. It's basically if EDM and 1920s, 1930s swing music fucked, you'd get electro swing.
Really, what it is.
But it is so much its own thing because of how these things blend and just make something new and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's like if I take and I give you all the ingredients to make a cake, that's not the same as me giving you a cake.
Right.
Like the sum is greater than, or the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Agreed. Yeah.
Oh, but no. But Metallica, I don't think would ever leave. Like, if I was told to write down the top 20, my current top 25, artists or bands, Metallica would always be in that list.
Oh yeah.
Where they are will change.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like, and there are a few other bands who are always in that list, the top 25. Linkin Park's in there. 9 Inch Nails are in there. Fucking, Alice in Chains is always in the top 25.
Yep.
Can we talk about the Facelift album sometime?
Yeah.
That was revolutionary for so many people. And fucking the story behind Rooster is so good. Do you know the story behind the song Rooster?
Probably. I feel like I've heard it.
Okay, so his dad's call sign in the military was Rooster.
Oh, okay.
And it was about him being stuck behind enemy lines and them trying to kill him and him getting away.
Oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah, that's dope as
I
fuck.
love that.
You
Yeah.
know, and like all of these bands have done time in like the top 5 or even the top 3, right? But as a person who likes to experience music and new music from time to time, like I listen to a lot of the stream beat stuff because as far as like lo-fi and electronic music goes, their curation of stuff that they're putting together is super fucking solid.
Yeah.
And it's even cooler. That's what we're listening to right now is the one of the lo-fi playlists from Stream Beats. But one of the cool things about Stream Beats is when they put all this together, they make sure that all the licensing and everything is all done so that we can just play the music.
Yeah.
It's
cool.
spearheaded by Harris Heller from Alpha Gaming. Might be Senpai Gaming now. I need to look into it. His Discord name changed. So
I think it's still Alpha Gaming. I think it's from Senpai Records.
okay.
I think that's the.
That's why the Discord changed. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, you gamer said it's senpai now.
But anyway, and he's all about like open creativity platforms.
Yep.
Where people can collaborate without even necessarily knowing they're collaborating.
Cool.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was a great discussion. That was 40 minutes worth of discussion. You know,
we talked about somebody that I know about.
Yeah, and Metallica is obviously a big deal. I have a few new releases for you guys this week. Nova Twins released their second album. If you guys, they're a British group, or British rock band or duo. They just released their second album called Supernova. I haven't listened to it yet. Check it out. Drake shocked everyone and just was like, hey, here's a new album. Totally surprised album. Didn't say anything about it. It's called Honestly Nevermind. I'm going to listen to that tomorrow. And Logic, after his retirement, just came out of retirement, released an album called Vinyl Days. It is a 30-song album.
Look, I would think about listening to Drake's new album, but honestly, never mind.
But as always, I post anytime I see new music. I post a Spotify link in the Discord, so you guys can feel free to check it out if you're interested in that type of music. Anytime I see something that I think would be popular or I'm into, we pop it in there. I actually posted the links to all of our socials and Discord. If you guys want to come hang out with us, share your taste in music. Or whatever, if you guys want to just hang out with us. So that is that. We're trying something a little different this week with the sports section. It's all pretty nice, packaged up and pretty. Dave, if you have that queued up, are we able to roll?
Yeah, let me figure out where I put it. Like, I know where I put it. Like, I know what folder it's in, but I forgot how much other shit I put in this folder. And I might just need to download it again to a different folder.
While Dave is looking for that, Motionless in White just released a new album a week ago.
Yeah, I actually talked about it last week.
Yeah, very, very good album.
Yeah, that's why I said I've listened to it like 4 times. That is posted in the Discord as well. They put one out, and Memphis Mayfire put one out too, which was also solid album.
Oh,
it would be cool.
I found it. I found it.
The Stanley Cup Finals are everything we could have asked for. After getting blown out in Game 2, the Tampa Bay Lightning rebounded in a big way on Monday, taking Game 3 over the Colorado Avalanche 6-2. Tampa clicked as a team for the first time in this series, and it showed in a big way. Not only on the scoreboard, but in the face-off circle and the hits category, Tampa was laying the body, no doubt about it. Colorado still holds the lead in the series 2-1. Will this be the turnaround Tampa needs, or will the Avs return to their dominant ways that we've seen all playoffs? Only time will tell. Game 4 is tomorrow night at 8 on ABC. The Golden State Warriors are your 2022 NBA champs, beating the Boston Celtics in Game 6 of the NBA Finals, 103-90. Steph Curry had another amazing game, scoring 34 points and had 7 rebounds. Boston's Jaylen Brown does need some love too, also scoring 34. This is Golden State's 4th championship since 2015, first since 2018. Celtics fans, you have a lot to be happy about this season, though. For a team that made a huge turnaround in the middle of the season, this to make the finals is super impressive. Be very, very happy for what you guys accomplished. The 2021-2022 NLL season is officially over as the Colorado Mammoth were crowned your champions this past weekend, beating the Buffalo Bandits 10-8 in a winner-takes-all Game 3 of the NLL Finals. Zed Williams was the moneymaker for Colorado the whole series and the whole playoffs, really, finishing off Game 3 with 4 goals, 2 assists. Dylan Ward stopped 55 shots against what was a very high-powered Buffalo offense. This is Colorado's 2nd championship in franchise history. Players can now report to their respective PLL teams now that the indoor season is over. Speaking of the PLL, the league made a stop to Long Island this past weekend for Week 3 action. The weekend started off with a bang as Chrome beat Waterdogs 17-14 in what was a great battle. Chrome's Justin Anderson scored 5 goals, while Ryan Brown also had 5 goals for Waterdogs, one of them being a nasty 2-pointer. Friday wrapped up with Whipsnakes moving to 3-0 after beating Atlas 12-9. Saturday started with lacrosse being aired on ABC for the first time since 1977. The game, however, was a blowout. Archers crushed Cannons 20-9. Will Manny led the Archers attack with 5 goals and 3 assists, but the entire offense was completely on fire. But rounding out the weekend, Redwoods got their first win of the season, beating Chaos 11-7. Week 4 will take the league to Baltimore for more high-energy lacrosse. Friday's matchups are Redwoods facing Whipsnakes and Chaos meet Waterdogs. Saturday's games are Cannons going up against Chrome, and Archers will face Atlas to round out the weekend. All games this weekend will be on ESPN+, with the first game on Friday being aired at 6:30 on ESPN2. Formula One returned to Canada for the first time in 2 years for the Canadian Grand Prix. Max Verstappen was your winner. Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton round out your podium. Max extends his championship lead over teammate Sergio Perez, and Red Bull still holds the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Next stop on the F1 calendar is Silverstone for the British Grand Prix on July 3rd. The NASCAR Cup Series had the weekend off, but return on Sunday for the Ally 400 at Nashville Super Speedway. Your defending race winner is Kyle Larson. The Superstar Racing Experience started its season this past weekend at Five Flags Speedway in Florida, trying to build off the massive success of its inaugural season last summer. The series showcases racing legends from multiple racing series, as well as a local star from each track that the series goes to. Elio Castroneves grabbed the win in what was an exciting 75-lap feature. I'll tell you what, Ray Evernham and Tony Stewart really struck gold here, you guys. The SRX heads to Virginia this weekend to run at the famed South Boston Speedway. Coverage begins Saturday at 7 on CBS.
And that was your weekly sports report.
I will say I did get a I think my headphones just died. But I did get an update that said for the IndyCar series that Firestone, which is their tire supplier, will be the official supplier of lights next year, which is their lower tier. So that is big stuff. As well as, speaking of the Premier Lacrosse League and SRX series, next weekend I will actually be at Stafford Motor Speedway for an SRX race, as well as I'll be attending, I think, 2 PLL events this season. So I'm gonna have some vlogs done for that. I'm gonna those will be tossed up on YouTube if you guys are interested in checking that out. And it should be a good time.
All right, so Finn,
I can hear
love
you now.
sports, right? Do you know what's a really underrated sport that I had the pleasure of seeing live a few times, and I wish it would come back to Maine?
What?
Arena football.
Oh, dude, arena football was great, and when it was in its
Holy
heyday,
shit.
like the AFL was killing it.
It was some of the best times I've ever had watching that sport.
Is it even around anymore?
Yeah, so the issue was a couple years ago, it came to Maine, and they were the Maine Mammoths. And they had one season, and it was a solid season. But there was an issue with the owner, and he decided to sell it. And no one would pick it back up, and all they had to pay was $1 million for it. And
Right.
they would have the players, the team, and everything. And I feel bad because all these guys flew up and moved to Maine to be part of this to only last one season.
The league folded in 2019 after
did
being
what?
around since 1986. So, one name that went through there for football fans, was Kurt Warner, who is an NFL Hall of Fame quarterback who won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He played in the arena football point in his career
That's
before he hit the
crazy.
NFL. Oh yeah, Gamer, I've heard about it. Doesn't Johnny Manziel play in the controlled football league? It's like a fan-controlled football league. I think Johnny Manziel plays there.
What the fuck is a fan-controlled football league?
The fans control the rules and shit. Yeah, it's this weird thing.
I'm still waiting to see what Dwayne The Rock Johnson's going to do with the XFL.
Yeah, well, he's gonna make it a reputable fucking thing. From last I heard, he has a deal in place with the NFL of some sort. I think it's gonna end up being a developmental.
Do you know what I think the XFL should be, right? So
What?
you have the NFL, right?
Yeah.
And you have the certain amount of teams. I can't remember how many teams there are in
32.
the NFL, but you have the 32 teams, right?
Mhm.
Imagine if you were the bottom 5 teams of the NFL and you had to go against the top 5 teams of the XFL, and whoever won the game stayed in the NFL.
So, like
You know
how?
how cool that would be?
What you're describing is how soccer works in most countries. They have
Right.
multiple leagues, and the bottom teams get relegated.
That's how it should be.
They get
And I think
relegated
that would
down
be
to
a
another
really
league.
good way to introduce the XFL and those players, and essentially give those players who never thought they'd have a chance the opportunity to potentially compete in the NFL.
Yeah,
and
and
it
then
would
the
get
top
rid of
4
some
or
of the
5
teams.
teams go up.
Yeah, and it would increase competition.
Yeah.
It would increase the talent base, and the teams that are constantly year over year, season over season, decade after decade in the bottom get fucking phased out.
As a fan of one of those teams, that yeah, hits kind of home.
I mean, but think about it though. You know what I mean? Like, they would play so much better if it was, hey, we need to step up our shit, or we
Yeah.
may not be able to be in the NFL next year. Like, holy shit, there's actually a reason we have to try.
Yeah, you wouldn't hear from the fucking Lions anymore. But as a Jaguars fan, yeah, that would kind of be shitty. 'Cause my team's been ass for a bit. But no, that's a good idea. I like that idea. But yeah, I will, like I said, those will be vlogs I'm going to toss up. I have my own YouTube channel that I usually vlog for, but I'll post a version of that and a different version on the LTN YouTube channel. So that'll be fun. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the summer, some more lacrosse next month. I'll actually be going to the All-Star game as well as another full event. So I was explaining to Dave how the Premier Lacrosse League works, and I don't think I've explained it. It is a touring league. So all 8 teams don't have like a home like city. They all play. The league tours to different places, and they all play in that same space in the weekend. And what the PLL did this year, which was smart, is they introduced league or weekend passes to wherever you want to go. So they'll be in Connecticut this year. My dad and I have weekend passes, $75 for 4 games throughout the weekend. It's like 18 something a game. Like, that's stupid reasonable to go watch a professional sporting league instead of just paying like to go to Yankee Stadium. It's like $200 for the cheapest seats. I can watch every team in the league play for $75.
Dude, someone who lives in New England, don't talk about how expensive it is sometimes to watch that shit.
Oh, it's so bad. I get you.
Go into friggin' where the Red Sox play.
Fenway's stupid expensive too. Fenway is cheaper than than Yankee Stadium though. Price-wise, it is definitely cheaper than Yankee Stadium.
But size-wise, like the competition and get a ticket to the limited seating they have, they need to increase that stadium. What is it? The Guardian, right? That's another stupid expensive place.
TD Garden is out of control just because the Bruins and the Celtics have been doing decent.
Right.
TD Garden, they just jack their prices up. But yeah, $75 for the entire weekend, and I can watch all 8 teams in the league play in one fucking weekend. And it's great quality lacrosse. My dad and I went last year to Long Island. 2 of the games ended with like game-winning goal being in the last 30 seconds of the game. So I'm excited. That'll be fun content. But I feel like we are at that time where we got to call it for today, guys. Like we mentioned before, check out our socials. We should be within the next couple weeks. Yeah, true gamer. Within the next couple weeks, we should be getting more active on social media. Come hang out with us on Discord. Check out our YouTube channel. I will post that link again. That is the YouTube link within the next like 20 minutes or so. We should have yesterday's video uploaded from the Double D Estrogen Power Hour. This will be up absolutely by tomorrow. Also tomorrow, you guys want to come hang out with us, we'll be live at 8:30 for our community game night, as well, or 8:30 Eastern and 7:30 Central for community game night, as well as I think with the next couple weeks. A good idea time coming up, which will be another fun stream. So always keep in contact with us in Discord. We'll let you guys know what's up to date. Maul, where can they find you, my guy?
You can find me hanging out here, hanging out in Dave's stream, or on my stream on the rare occasion that I actually do stream. Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for the invitation to hang out with you tonight. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to the next opportunity to be on the show.
Oh, hell yeah, bud. Anytime you want, you're more than welcome. Come hang.
And after the stream ends, I'm going to stream something TBD. We'll talk about it when my stream starts. But this stream will end, and then there will be a hiccup, and then my stream will start, and then if you stay here, you can just join the raid. And I'll make life easy for everyone.
Indeed.
I don't know what I'm doing tonight yet. I might do some more My Time at Sandrock, which has been really good so far.
Did you bang Mian yet?
No.
God.
No.
You have a goal for tonight.
Just bang Mian.
Well, so I wanted to get Mian pregnant on Father's Day, but that didn't end up working out.
Well,
set the internal clock back to Father's Day, and you have time.
Yeah, we'll call it even.
I
will tell you the first thing I'm doing after show though is your boy has to pee.
Facts.
I was also curious if you guys would maybe want to play some golf.
Possibly. I need food. I gotta pee. but maybe in a bit.
Definitely a possibility. I have to finish writing a paper though,
Ah.
because I took a nap today instead of doing homework.
Yo, that's an entire mood.
But as always, thank you guys so much for joining us. It's been a blast. Maul, thank you again for being here. Next week, we will be back with more action for this show. But like I said, tomorrow night, we will be live with our usual shenanigans on Thursdays. Dave, hit us with that outro, big guy.
Keep it simple, stay weird.
There it is.
My brain said, find a pool, stay in school, stay techno. But that's not even a channel I'm only but loosely affiliated with. Shout out to my boy Steven over at twitch.tv/perfectlytechno. Keep it simple, stay weird. We love you. Bye.